game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Numbness, tingling in the hands, arms, legs, feet. Time to go see Dr. Alex Young and my team at Connect Chiropractic. Regular chiropractic care can bring life-changing results for folks who suffer from neuropathy and fibromyalgia, nervous system issues that can be corrected. And no worries about twisting, cracking, or popping. The docs at Connect Chiro use all the same method, a special tool that is pain-free and effective for your adjustments. Visit them in Delafield and Wauwatosa or get started online at GoConnectChiro.com.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The amount of energy people are using is going up. Power companies are changing where that power comes from.
Entertainment.
This is the culmination of these tour journals of all the weirdest shows I've played.
And more.
Anybody who looks at this institutionally would never allow recess appointments to happen when a Republican president gets elected because they'll know what will happen if a Democrat gets elected.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@WTMJ.com. john.mercure@WTMJ.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @WTMJ.com.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Traffic is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
Rejuvenix. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm John Mercure. Your top story, breaking down Milwaukee's 2024 crime report.
I'm Julia Fellow. A homeless encampment gets cleared out.
I'm Debbie Lazago. Westbound 94, backing up just a little bit right through the stadium interchange. Eastbound looks fine. Southbound on 41, a little bit heavy from just south of Hampton down past Capitol Drive. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty good. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 13 degrees. Tomorrow, a few flurries, a high of 22 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, over the past 2 years, crime has declined in the city of Milwaukee. Homicides and non-fatal shootings have declined in 2024 by 20% each. But Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says more can be done to reduce gun-related crimes.
Yes, we had double-digit reduction, but it could be even more. Many of those homicides were a kid with a handgun, unfortunately using it against another child. Absolutely preventable and absolutely unacceptable.
Chief Norman says MPD will continue to work with community partners to reduce gun violence in the city this year.
A suspect is shot by Milwaukee police during an overnight struggle on the south side.
A 19-year-old male suspect wanted for sexual assault of a child was in a home near 7th and Arthur. When officers attempted to arrest the man, that's when Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says the suspect pulled out a gun.
A struggle ensued between two officers and a suspect over the firearm. One officer discharged his firearm, subsequently striking the suspect.
That suspect is now in custody and is expected to survive. The 35-year-old male officer who shot the suspect is on administrative leave. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A homeless encampment just outside Waukesha's Frame Park has been cleared. Occupants were given a deadline of today to have their belongings off the private property. In December, Waukesha Mayor Sean Riley told WTMJ overall crime had not increased in the area.
Not having a home in itself is not a crime. You're allowed to congregate. You're allowed to be in a place. Where it becomes a problem is, when they have nowhere else to go.
Mayor Riley says people cannot camp on property that isn't zoned for such, but those kind of ordinance and trespassing violations rarely get prosecuted.
An ice rescue took place. A man is recovering after he fell through it while riding his UTV on Lake Holcomb in Chippewa County today. Now, it comes after two men were rescued when their UTV fell through the ice Sunday evening.
An ice fisherman died falling through the ice in Marquette County. Sheriff's deputies arrived just after 10 a.m. yesterday to Lawrence Lake to reports of the fisherman falling through the ice on a UTV. Despite rescue efforts, the man died. As a safety reminder, officers remind the public to avoid going onto frozen lakes or rivers unless they've confirmed the ice is thick enough for safe activities.
Coming up, saying good riddance to phrases in 2025.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 3:05.
Restaurant prices are soaring, but not at the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. One of my favorite places, family-owned for almost 50 years. I took my daughters there. Great memories. It's super affordable, and it's so much fun. Every Tuesday, the authentic Mexican buffet is all you can eat, and it's just $9.99. It's the best Tuesday dining value, $9.99. Kids 5 and under eat free today from that kids menu. They can safely play in the world-class game room, quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up your meal. Stop today after school. Check this out. The Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa, that's crazy. From 2 till 5 today, beers, cocktails, and appetizers are half price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh, right near EAA. Walk in today for the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet for under $10. MineShaftRestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey,
it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 3:07.
A new year brings the promise of fresh beginnings. No entity puts more time and effort into determining which words or phrases should be kicked to the curb than the folks at Lake Superior State University.
A tradition that dates back to 1976, the list proudly shines a spotlight on words and terms that are overused, misused, or simply unnecessary, with people from all over the world submitting.
25 different countries this year, mostly English-speaking countries from around the world.
Dr. David Travis is the president of Lake Superior State University.
At the end of the year, we have a committee that sits down and goes through all of them and evaluates and comes up with the top 10.
Words like cringe and era populate the 2025 banished words list. Overused phrases are also considered. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Also on the list, skibbity, utilize, and game changer.
Game changer. That's interesting. Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo needed 3 stitches to close a cut on his right pinky during the game against the Raptors last night. He returned to the game to finish his 4th triple-double of the season to help the team to a 128-104 road win over the struggling Raptors. The Wisconsin Badgers basketball team got its first road win of the season, 75-63 against Rutgers last night. The Lady Badgers head to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies on the hardwood. Tip-off is at 8. Badgers Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 3:08.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at The Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
Hope you're having a good Tuesday. We are watching live coverage of the Jimmy Carter Life and Legacy processional right now. His body in a casket, horse-drawn caskets, being paraded through Washington, D.C. It stopped at the Naval Memorial, and everything paused. They saluted there. He was a proud graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. Now it is proceeding to the Capitol. There is a caisson with his body on it, horses, flags, his family actually walking right behind the casket.
I didn't notice that until now.
Doesn't it look chilly there?
Oh, my goodness. Very chilly.
32 degrees, so not super cold, but it sure looks cold. Lots of snow on the ground. We're seeing live pictures of the Capitol where he will lie in state until Thursday, till his funeral on Thursday morning. We'll continue to monitor the situation, but it's been a long procession. It's taken a long time. All right, let's get to what we're following today.
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Okay, the first one is a bizarre story. This is just really weird. So a JetBlue flight goes from New York City to Fort Lauderdale. People get off the plane, and they discover that there are 2 bodies in the landing gear, and they're deceased. Authorities noticed this right away at the Fort Lauderdale airport. The Airbus A320 took that 3-hour and 20-minute flight from JFK to Fort Lauderdale, cruising at an altitude of 36,000 feet. We don't know how they got in there. We don't know how they died. It's an active investigation.
So cold when you go up that high, though.
So cold. So cold. I mean, like way below zero.
Mm-hmm.
So they were found in the landing gear. JetBlue saying, we are not releasing the identities of the individuals. We're continuing to investigate. It's a heartbreaking situation. We're working closely with authorities. We don't know how they slipped into the plane's wheel well, but there's a back door of aviation security. You've seen these doors. It's right by the desk where you check in when you're at your gate. That's where employees can access the tarmac in the backside of the airport. And in the past, when people have gotten into wheel wells or stowed away, this is sometimes how they do it. So they're looking at all of this. By the way, this is not an easy task. They're not even sure those people got on at JFK. This plane had flown this whole day. It started in Jamaica, flew to JFK, flew all the way out to Salt Lake City, then JFK again, and then back to Fort Lauderdale. So the investigation continues.
Wow. Okay. On to better news. A 13-year-old middle schooler, Kamaria Williams, was learning about science in a 14-week outreach program with the University of Illinois and may have made a huge cancer breakthrough discovery. You won't believe where it comes from. The Chicago student was learning how to safely grow bacteria, and she took bacteria from bird droppings, and found from an isolated species of bacteria, it proved to be a great antiseptic, killing about 90% of other bacteria. It also produced a never-before-seen substance that can kill cancer cells, especially skin and ovarian cancers, slowing its growth. It has a new name, Orphamide N. Orphamide is already well used. It was Orphamide M before that. The little girl said, quote, "My mom and auntie and grandma have all had cancer, so it makes me happy that I found something that could help." It was Goose Poop, if you were wondering specifically.
That's a fascinating story. Good for her. Hey, the third thing is also really good news. Post Malone, you know the singer Post Malone, he went out in Houston to a local bar. It's being described as a dive bar. He was with his whole crew. So they're out there on Christmas Eve because they're on road touring, so they're all together on Christmas Eve, and they spend, by all reports, a ton of money in the bar. Post Malone hit it off with a bartender who was working that night. She was a single mom. Her name was Renee Brown. They made a connection that night. He was very friendly, she says. His crew paid the whole bill. So he went to pay the bill at the end of the night, and it was paid. So he says to the bartender who had been helping him and taking care of his team, "Charge me for something because I want to leave you a tip. You've taken such good care of us." So she charged him $1 so that she can run his credit card.
Oh, wow.
And he left a $20,000 tip.
Wow.
$20,000. She's the mother of a 9-year-old. She's been without her car. She's had to walk to work or hitch rides with friends. She says she's had a really, really bad 2024. And now she says, thanks to the $20,000 tip, through tears, she explained that she will use the money to catch up on her rent, buy a car, and start saving to start a business she's had in mind for a while. What a great, nice gesture on Christmas Eve. Happy story. It is 3:14 at WTMJ. Donald Trump holds a presser in Mar-a-Lago. He talks about, well, pretty much everything. He had some interesting things to say. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, is with us to help break it down up next.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Right now at Verizon, your family can get 3 lines for the price of 2 when you bring your phones. That's like 1 free, which is a better deal than the free coffee you get for buying the previous 10. Get 3 lines for the price of 2 on unlimited welcome with autopay plus taxes and fees. Drop into your local Milwaukee Verizon store today. $35 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with 3 new lines on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic dated roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at Bucks.com/tickets. That's Bucks.com/tickets.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
Traffic is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield is excited to welcome Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
Traffic and weather, Debbie Lazaga. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, John. Well, we're looking pretty good right now, at least a little bit better than this morning. We've got no accidents up on the board. We have a couple pockets of heavy traffic. Westbound 94, for example, heading through the Stadium interchange, almost to Hawley Road. And then on southbound on 41, just past Capitol Drive itself. Southbound on 43, maybe a quick tap of the brakes as you're making your way past Fond du Lac Avenue. But even that isn't looking too bad. That's more heavy volume than anything else. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 13 degrees. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, a few flurries, a high of 22. On Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 28. Friday, light snow is possible, a high of 30. On Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 32 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's cloudy and 25 degrees. Donald Trump holds a wide-ranging press conference at Mar-a-Lago today. Talk about all sorts of stuff. ABC's Olivia Rubin is with us. She saw the whole thing. Let's start, Olivia, good afternoon, with the tone. Was there sparring? Was it easy? What was the tone of the news conference?
You know, I think it started sort of optimistic because Donald Trump, of course, was announcing a new investment that he'd secured. So that's, of course, something that's positive for him. That's a win for him. And he's excited, clearly, to come out and tout that. But, you know, I would say it struck a serious tone from there. Like you said, hit a number of different topics, talking about January 6th, talking about Panama, talking about hostages in Gaza, talking about deals there. So, you know, a lot of topics covered down there.
I want to play a soundbite for you and ask you what the reaction in the room was to this. This is Donald Trump talking about how it should no longer be called the Gulf of Mexico, that body of water that borders Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. Here's what he had to say.
And we're going to be announcing a future date pretty soon. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America. What was the reaction to that?
So, you know, I'm actually in Washington, D.C., so I can't speak to the reaction in the room. But I think what sort of caught more people by surprise was actually his answer when asked if he would rule out military force about taking Panama Canal and Greenland. Of course, he didn't rule it out, which seemed to be a bit more surprising to some of those in the room, just based on what I saw.
Has Greenland responded to that? I mean, this is not the first time he's brought up Greenland, which is a territory of Denmark. It's just such a bizarre thing, Olivia.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the Danish Prime Minister respond today saying Greenland is not for sale and will not be for sale in the future. And we've seen a number of other leaders respond as well. Trudeau, the Prime Minister in Canada, saying there's a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become the 51st state. But it's notable because, you know, Donald Trump's son, Don Jr., was in Greenland today. He was there along with a number of individuals in the incoming Trump administration. So, you know, Don Jr. had said that was a personal trip. It had nothing to do with this sort of effort. But it's notable, you know, as his father is standing there talking about how the United States needs Greenland for national security, that his son is on the ground there with members of his incoming administration.
So how would it look? What would it look like? Would he buy it? I know that they were talking about military intervention, but how would that even be a reality?
I think that's the exact question on everyone's mind, which is why that reporter very smartly asked Donald Trump if military force was ruled out. And, of course, he didn't rule it out. So, you know, there's a lot of questions surrounding what exactly he envisions, and not a lot of details were given. by Donald Trump. Of course, when it comes to Greenland, he raised the idea that Denmark doesn't even have a claim to Greenland, which, of course, we know is not true. But he did sort of threaten some sort of economic tariff being placed there that could potentially force Denmark to give it up. It definitely seems like he's looking to use tariffs as a bargaining chip. He's really suggested the same when it comes to Canada as well.
And we're watching Carter's casket being taken to the Capitol. And at that same time this morning, the former president was talking about the Panama Canal and the relationship that Carter had to that. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, he of course said that he disagrees with Carter with the treaty made to give the Panama Canal from the United States to Panama. He said he believed it was the reason that Carter actually lost re-election. So, he had some strong words for Jimmy Carter, but of course, saying that he still respects him. But he did say that he thought the Panama Canal was one of the, quote, bad parts of Carter's legacy, which, it's an interesting thing to bring up today, like you said, beginning that procession in D.C.
It's so interesting. It's obvious, Olivia, that he likes these. He likes dealing with the media. Economics. The markets are having a rough couple of weeks. They were bad again today. You mentioned tariffs briefly. Did he talk about the economy at all? Did he talk about what will happen, what he'd like to see happen in a couple of weeks when he becomes president?
Of course. And, it's no surprise that with Donald Trump, we always hear positives when it comes to the economy with him. He talks about, bringing inflation down when he comes back into office, specifically those prices at the grocery store. He admitted recently in a Time magazine interview that it was going to be a difficult thing to do, and he acknowledged that it was going to be difficult, but he said it was because he's coming into such a bad situation. But, when it comes to the economy, Donald Trump really likes to project a positive outlook. He really views himself as someone that's going to be able to fix what he says is the economy, again, inflation, bringing the markets up, things like that. So he really does like to project a positive view there most of the time.
Boy, it's fascinating. Olivia Rubin is in the nation's capital. Olivia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we continue to watch the live coverage. The procession carrying former President Jimmy Carter has now reached the Capitol steps. It's gone through a black wrought iron gate. There are extra security measures in place because of this and because of the inauguration coming up. Members of the Naval Guard, members of the other armed forces branches on both sides of his casket being pulled by horses. It's flag draped, of course, and it's now entered the grounds of the Capitol. It will proceed to an entrance to the Capitol where he will lie in state through Thursday morning when the funeral takes place.
Beautiful flag of the presidential seal, too.
Isn't that beautiful? Right behind everything. So we'll continue to monitor this for you. Let's check out the stock market. As I mentioned to Olivia, it was not a great day for the markets. The NASDAQ down 375 on the day. The Dow was off 178. The S&P was down 66 points on the day. Whew, that's not great for sure. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
Whether you are a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit our great city of Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Hey, maybe you got friends coming in from out of town. St. Kate the Arts Hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee with deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music. You and your friends will enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Vita Hearing Care. Right now, I've got my hearing aids in. I just got my hearing aids, and they've changed everything. I was in a bar not that long ago. It was loud in the past. It would have been very difficult for me to hear. I heard fine. I heard the bartender across the bar and everybody I was hanging out with. It was absolutely fantastic. It's Vita Hearing Care, locally family-owned, locations in Mount Pleasant and Waterford. VitaHearingCare.com. I did the testing. Michelle was there for that. got fitted. Michelle was there for that, and now I just hear better. It really is a life changer. I've been wearing these glasses for several years because my eyes aren't great. Now I have help for my hearing. It's fantastic. I love the teams at Vita Hearing Care. Jeff and his team there, Cynthia, they are fantastic. Check them out. 2 locations in our area, VitaHearingCare.com.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different, but one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
If you're looking to build or remodel, then check out the 2025 Metropolitan Builders Association Home Building and Remodeling Show, presented by Nuns, January 10th through the 12th at State Fair Park. Learn about the latest home building and remodeling trends from over 150 MBA industry experts. For more information and tickets, visit mbahomeshow.com. If building and remodeling is on your to-do list in 2025, then don't miss the MBA Home Building and Remodeling Show this weekend at State Fair Park.
Are you waiting for a miracle to feel financially secure in retirement? In a recent study, over a third of millionaires predicted their ability to feel financially secure in retirement is going to take a miracle. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe a plan, not a miracle, will help increase your retirement confidence. Annex Wealth Management listens. Then, our team of experts gets to work using leading-edge technology to build a comprehensive plan that covers investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. We stress test it, run it through countless variables. Then, and only then, we present a framework for a financial plan tailored to your goals in retirement. And unlike our competitors, Annex doesn't have any products to push. No hidden fees or commissions. There's too much of that out there already. We're a fee-only fiduciary, required to act in your best interest at all times. More planning, fewer miracles. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Build confidence in your future with Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations: Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com, because today's your day.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 3:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story, laying out plans for the first 100 days in the Oval Office.
I'm Julia Fellows, saluting a life of service.
I'm Debbie Lazago, westbound on 94, slowing down now from about 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound on 41 is going to be heavy from Silver Spring, pretty much all the way down past Capitol Drive. Other than that, we're looking actually pretty good, just your usual building volume. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Tomorrow, sun and clouds. A few flurries are possible in southeast Wisconsin. The high will be 22 degrees.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, saying goodbye to our 39th president after 3 days of tributes in his Georgia hometown. The body of President Jimmy Carter is now in our nation's capital. ABC's Ann Compton covered several presidents, including the Carter White House.
Washington, when he came in, he was such a different kind of president. He wanted to be something totally new to the country, which had been through the long, arduous years of the Watergate scandal. There had been a president, Richard Nixon, who resigned in disgrace. America had been torn apart by the Americans dying in Vietnam and dissent over the war.
Carter's body will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol building for 2 days while the public pays their respects before a public funeral on Thursday.
President-elect Donald Trump lays out plans of what he wants to accomplish in his first 100 days. Donald Trump held a pre-inauguration press conference today in Mar-a-Lago.
I like one big, beautiful bill, and I always have, I always will. But if two is more certain, it does go a little bit quicker because you can do the immigration stuff early.
Along with the issue of Greenland, he also talked about the hostages in Gaza and Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Ukraine war, as well as our economy.
Stricter voter ID requirements could be coming to Wisconsin's Constitution. State Republicans are proposing a constitutional amendment for the April spring ballot to enshrine Wisconsin's photo ID requirement into the state constitution. Democrats argue the requirement makes it harder for people to vote, especially the elderly and those without an ID. Wisconsin is one of 9 states where voters must present a photo ID to cast a ballot.
Since 2022, overall crime declined by 12% in the city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says the department is working to reduce juvenile crime in our city.
So when we talk about these, young ones involved in these particular unfortunate circumstances, we as a community have to ask, how do we have a hand in that? How could we have prevented it? How could we have not made that another number?
Norman reminds gun owners in Milwaukee to keep firearms secured and locked away from any juveniles.
A 19-year-old suspect is shot during a struggle with 2 Milwaukee police officers late yesterday after the man pulled out a gun. Officers were speaking with the man who was wanted for sexual assault of a child and child enticement at a home on the city's south side when the struggle ensued. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman.
While communicating with the suspect pulled out a firearm. A struggle ensued between 2 officers and a suspect over the firearm. One officer discharged his firearm, subsequently striking the suspect.
The suspect is in custody and is expected to survive. The 35-year-old officer involved will be placed on administrative leave.
Funding is secured to build another high-rise downtown Milwaukee.
The 31-story apartment tower would become the tallest mass timber high-rise in the state, located near Edison and State Street along the Milwaukee River. That's right near the Marcus Performing Arts Center. The Milwaukee Business Journal says Neutral, which is based out of Madison, has closed on the bank financing, and construction could start this year. The apartment tower would have about 370 units, but still needs buy-in from members of the Common Council. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
A new report from Zillow reveals the hottest housing market for 2025.
Buffalo, New York, known for its wacky winter weather and namesake chicken wing, will be the hottest major housing market in 2025, as it was in 2024. Zillow's ranking takes into account local home values, the rate that homes are selling, job growth per new home permitted, and expected growth in owner-occupied households. Indianapolis, Providence, Hartford, and Philadelphia round out the top 5. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All sports desk. Buck star Giannis needed 3 stitches to close out a cut on his right pinky during the Raptors last night. He returned to the game to finish his 4th triple-double of the season to help the team win 128-104 over the road with the struggling Raptors. Your Wisconsin Badgers basketball team got its first road win of the season, 75-63 against Rutgers last night. Lady Badgers head to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies on the hardwood. And Packers begin the practice week on Wednesday. How much will quarterback Jordan Love and Malik Willis be able to do after suffering injuries to Sunday's loss to the Bears? We'll have to wait and see.
Live pictures right now from the nation's capital at Capitol Hill. Jimmy Carter's casket has arrived at Capitol Hill. It's sitting at the foot of the steps right now. The Military Honor Guard is there. Members of both parties have assembled inside Capitol. He will lie in repose right in the rotunda right now. A breezy day. Sun is shining, 32 degrees. Flags are flying, an American flag and a flag with the U.S. presidential seal on it, and a horse, a riderless horse, right in front of the Capitol steps as they prepare to unload Jimmy Carter's casket and take it up those stairs and into the Capitol.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 3:36.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
Great Midwest Bank has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed business technology company. The bank's IT systems administrator, Michael Quizon, comments on the value of local.
We call on them at any point, they're there. We ask them any questions that we have, they're there.
James Imaging Systems, local business technology solutions, local support, local accountability. Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales for the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra.
If an issue does arise, they're very prompt, polite, and professional. It makes me feel empowered because I find it very easy to resolve something.
James Imaging Systems client, Al Leidinger, President of Matheson Manufacturing, summarized the benefit of local.
James Imaging has been a really good partner with us from the beginning.
Go with local. Go with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
A fascinating article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel about how winters in the Great Lakes have been shrinking for decades. Caitlin Luby has written the article, and she is with us this afternoon. Caitlin, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Fascinating stuff. And you were writing how winter is shortened by about 14 days in many spots, in some spots closer to 3 weeks. Why is this? Why do scientists believe this has happened?
Yeah, so all this is due to climate change. The scientists kind of looked at different winter conditions across the lake, the different lakes, and they found that not only is ice cover shrinking, but there's also changes in surface temperatures that overall are just causing winter to be a lot shorter on average across all the lakes.
And how does Lake Michigan play a role in all of this, or Lake Superior as well, to influence Wisconsin?
Yeah, so, Lake Superior and Lake Michigan, the researchers found that kind of different things were going on there. Lake Superior, as we know, it's the largest Great Lake, and it's really deep. So it doesn't really tend to freeze over like a smaller lake like Lake Erie would in the winter. So they had to really focus on looking at surface temperatures with that. And they found that out of all 5 of the lakes, Lake Superior was on the higher end, kind of closer to a winter that's about 3 weeks shorter. And that's throughout the entire lake. Whereas on Lake Michigan, they found that a lot of the changes that they're seeing is with ice cover, and it's in some of those near shore areas. So for instance, they found that ice cover has been decreasing in places like the Bay of Green Bay in Lake Michigan.
That would have an economic impact for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Up north.
Yeah, studies just have been finding mounting evidence that winters in general are just going to look a lot different in the future, and they already are looking a lot different now. And winter is kind of a big deal in the Great Lakes. It has a lot of economic importance when it comes to fisheries, and also when it comes to recreation. And kind of winter and ice cover and a lot of these different things are really important to have here in terms of the economy.
So, Caitlin, you in your reporting discovered that in some regions, fall lasts a little longer, and in some regions, it's impacted more in spring. Here in Milwaukee and along Lake Michigan, did we gain more days in general in the spring, or do we gain more days in the fall?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. There is a kind of a split in Wisconsin, whether you're near Lake Michigan or Lake Superior. So here in Milwaukee, Lake Michigan, it's actually gaining more spring days, where Lake Superior is actually gaining fall days. So that was a really interesting part of this study, that they were able to kind of like tease apart whether or not winter days were being lost to the fall or the spring.
What about the future? What have you found?
Yeah, so, a lot of this is kind of just unraveling with one study at a time. One of the researchers told me that winter is really a blind spot out on the lakes, just because there's not a lot of access out there. So really just one study at a time, scientists are starting to figure out what's going to be happening out on the lakes in the winter, and also with climate change. So not only are there likely going to be a lot of economic impacts of this too, but there also could be changes to the food web and fisheries and whatnot moving forward. But the researchers told me that a lot of this is still kind of up in the air because one of the problems with climate change is that a lot of different things are changing at once. So scientists are trying to just tease this apart one at a time.
Caitlin Luby reports for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You can find her work there. That's where I saw. Check out their website. Caitlin, very thorough, very interesting. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is 3:41 at WTMJ. We continue to look at those live pictures from the nation's capital. Jimmy Carter's casket has not yet been brought into the Capitol. Looks like they're getting close. People are assembled there. It's a breezy day. The sun is getting close to setting. We're going to get some very good perspective. Major Garrett, CBS's chief Washington correspondent, with us live up next.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our retirement-ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Hey, Bella and Baxter are the dogs in our house. They're beautiful corgis, and they're better behaved now. You know why? It's easy. Sit Means Sit dog training taught me how to be a better dog owner. Michelle was already a pretty dog owner. I needed help, and Sit Means Sit dog training got that for me. The dogs are less barky. They're less jumpy. They listen better than they ever have. It's Sit Means Sit dog training. Matt and his teams there are absolutely awesome. You, too, can have a happy, confident, more obedient dog. Do what we did. Start with a free consultation. It's a piece of cake. We met Matt. Matt met the dogs. We started the lessons, and they are better behaved. Contact them today. SitMeansSitWaukesha.com.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
Traffic and then weather. Let's get to our Debbie Loziga. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Hey there. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. We got a little bit of a backup on westbound 94 heading through the Stadium interchange, and then we've also got southbound 41 a little heavy between Hampton and Capitol Drive. A couple pockets of heavy traffic on northbound 43 heading into the Capitol Drive area as well. Nothing major, just a few taps on the brakes. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, a few flurries in southeast Wisconsin, a high of 22. Thursday, cloudy, a high of 28. Friday, a chance of light snow, a high of 30. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 32 degrees.
He's a journalist. He's an historian. He's an all-around great guy. His book is The Big Truth. Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett, CBS News, with us this afternoon. Major, good afternoon.
Great to be with you.
Hey, so we're looking at live pictures from the nation's capital and a sky dotted with pink and mauve as the sun gets set to set there. Jimmy Carter's family's now out on the Capitol steps. They're getting ready to move his casket on this chilly afternoon inside the Capitol. As you watch these pictures, and I know how much you love history and presidential politics, what thoughts come to mind when you see this unfolding and these honors being bestowed on Jimmy Carter?
That it is part of our great American tradition to honor any occupant of the White House, even one who twice during his presidency, it's worth noting, Jimmy Carter had an approval rating of 26%, twice, 1978 and again in 1980. He was unpopular while in the office, but, and this is sometimes true of American presidents, underappreciated in the time that they serve, more appreciated in the rearview mirror, looking at the things that were external events that Jimmy Carter had no control over, but looking to things that in a lasting way transform the country for the better. I'll just note three very quickly. The modern air travel we enjoy, low-cost competitive airlines. That's because Jimmy Carter deregulated the airlines during his presidency. FedEx, DHL, UPS, all the modern conveniences of shipping that were so vital to us during COVID and are second nature in every other aspect of American life because, in large part, Jimmy Carter deregulated trucking during his presidency. And I think we've had this conversation before. It's worth noting. He enjoyed craft beer. Raised one to Jimmy Carter. He signed legislation allowing home brews, which were the precursor to craft brews. Those are small things or large things, but utterly underappreciated at the time, more appreciated now, and that happens sometimes with a troubled American presidency. I remember when George Herbert Walker Bush was laid to rest and all these same honors were conferred at the Capitol and elsewhere. There was a reappraisal of George Herbert Walker Bush's presidency, thought to be weak and maybe unimaginative, no vision. But then people look back at the legislative tracker and said, wow, a lot of things got done. Same thing with Jimmy Carter. Just because you're a one-term president does not mean you're a failure in every respect. Politically, yes, that is the ultimate acid test of a politically successful modern American presidency. Are you reelected? But that doesn't mean you weren't a successful president in other ways.
Major, how are you covering it tomorrow? Or, Thursday?
Well, I will be part of the CBS News special election coverage tonight. I am going to anchor our America Decides streaming political program, which will come out of our special report coverage, and I'll be doing that same show tomorrow, but I'll be part of the coverage probably at the anchor desk with Nora on Thursday for the funeral at the Washington National Cathedral, the speech by the eulogy from President Biden. We should remember, if you don't know, the first senator to endorse Jimmy Carter's run for the presidency in 1976 was Joe Biden. So they remain longtime friends, and it's important for President Biden as he prepares to exit the White House, also as a one-term president, to eulogize Jimmy Carter, one of his first and most formidable mentors in politics.
Has there ever been a president with a post-presidential legacy that equals Jimmy Carter's?
John Quincy Adams is the only other one. John Quincy Adams went back to serve in the House of Representatives and was a powerful and important voice in the abolitionist movement and had a significant legislative track record. As a former president in the House of Representatives, he is the only one who compare. There are two great ex-presidencies in our history, John Quincy Adams and Jimmy Carter's. And the one thing I would say about that, and I've done quite a bit of reading on this and talked to biographers of Jimmy Carter, talked to people who work for him. I long assumed, and I think most Americans assume, that post-presidency was a sort of an answer or sort of a mea culpa for a bad presidency. Not at all. Jimmy Carter did not consider one different from the other, or one an enhancement of the other, or one an answer for the other. It was a constant thread throughout his life. He helped the Senate and pushed the Senate to approve the Panama Canal Treaties. Why? Because he believed America should have a statement about human rights to pull back from its imperialist, colonialist, Yankee imagery in Central and South America. He did that in his post-presidency, not just in Central and South America, but throughout the continent of Africa, to explain that human rights, dealing with public health, assisting people, using the convening power of a former president, was part of his mission in life. So what he did as president and the things he emphasized, human rights and otherwise, flowed through his entire post-presidency. They weren't an answer for one or the other or, well, gosh, I was a terrible president. I better be a good post-president. No, it was a constant thread. I don't think that was understood at the time, and it's being better understood now.
Powerful moment right now, Major, at the nation's capital. 21-gun salute, military honor cannons being fired in honor of Jimmy Carter as the sun begins to set there over the nation's capital. I like tradition also, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about the many strong traditions we have when it comes to politics in our country. And one of those will come to life again on Thursday when all the living presidents will be there. I think some people are surprised that Donald Trump will be there, but he will be. Is that important?
It is important. And I would say in the main, what President-elect Trump has said has fit within the contours of respect paid to former presidents. There was a press conference at Mar-a-Lago today where President-elect Trump said some critical things about the Panama Canal Treaty, sort of echoing complaints at the time that were highly politicized. Jimmy Carter never questioned the necessity of handing over control of the Panama Canal to the Panamanian government. That has been vindicated by history. There was a tremendous revolutionary fervor or anti-American fervor at the time that was happening. The Joint Chiefs of Staff briefed President Carter, said if you don't do this, that canal will be under constant threat, and we'll probably have to put 80 to 100,000 U.S. military personnel there constantly to protect it. It's much better for us, for our security, and for our future relations with Panama and Central America and South American countries to do this. Carter believed that. One of his fiercest advocates publicly at the time, most people don't know this, was John Wayne, who clashed with his longtime friend Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan sounding very much like President-elect Trump does now about the Panama Canal. We built it, we should keep it, et cetera, et cetera. Other than that, what President-elect Trump said today, he's been generally respectful of Jimmy Carter, the person, and honoring him as a former president. That's important. That helps reinforce the continuity and the generalized respect we have for occupants of that office. Though, as I pointed out, Carter was really unpopular while he was in office. He often felt or looked small in the office. American public punished him for that in the 1980 presidential election, but still a significant figure in American history.
Okay, you mentioned the incoming President-elect Donald Trump. He also had this to say, Major. I want you to react to this. It's whether the Gulf of Mexico should remain the Gulf of Mexico. Listen to this.
Pretty soon we're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate.
Your reaction to that, Major?
Is there a council that he's going to go to that's going to change all the maps?
Yes.
How does that happen? Yeah, what do we do?
How could we literally do that? Could we do that?
Well, I suppose he could, draw it in Sharpie on a map at the White House.
He likes the
Sharpie. That could be the beginning of the process. I really don't know what to make of that, other than to say he said it. He's the president-elect, so it must be taken with some degree of seriousness. I don't imagine it's going to happen or be a priority, but the idea is that he wants to suggest throughout the hemisphere that there is going to be a kind of possibly surprising muscularity to Trump 2.0. He's made that abundantly clear with Canada, Greenland, Panama. How far that goes and what it exactly means and how it does or doesn't either reshape the region's understanding of America or vice versa, or what we call certain things, I don't know. But it did take me aback, that's for sure.
And an incredible distraction to what's really going on in our everyday lives, like talking about the economy and inflation. I mean, that is a really big pivot that he made, and that made the headlines.
Yeah, and you can't know, and this is something I think we're going to re-experience. We can't know how serious these things are. Is it a pivot, or is it just a notion, of which there are many, and some are pursued and others just sort of float on by? We experienced that for 4 years during the first Trump presidency. Today's press availability reminded us, certainly reminded me, of that dynamic that we are about to revisit.
Major Garrett is CBS's chief Washington correspondent. We always appreciate your time, especially on the big days for America. Major, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Talk next week.
It is 3:56 at WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The St. Francis Brewery is reopening in 2025 under new leadership. The plan is to reopen the 7,200 square foot space in early spring. The brewery originally opened in 2009 before closing in the fall of 2019. Harley-Davidson factory employees in Metro Milwaukee returned to regular hours following rolling layoffs. The layoffs had been taking place since last summer amid production cuts. HIG Capital acquires Brookfield-based publisher Best Version Media. Terms of the transaction were not disclosed. The management and founders of Best Version Media will retain a minority stake in the company. I'm Logan Hansen for MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
The report is sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today. Visit thepfisterhotel.com.
For over 130 years, the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee has been delighting guests with impeccable service and luxurious accommodations. Celebrate your next special occasion with a stay at this newly renovated Milwaukee icon. Enjoy fine dining at acclaimed restaurants and pamper yourself with a service from the Wells Spa and Salon. Experience the hotel's afternoon tea program or take in live music with the best views of the city from Blue, the 23rd floor cocktail lounge. There's always a reason to celebrate with the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today at thepfisterhotel.com.
Connect Chiropractic. Come check out Connect Chiropractic. I'm there every single Thursday. You know what? Because I'm not feeling as young as I used to be. But when I'm at Connect, I feel better. I mean, no one's taking me out of this seat. I can tell you that. Connect Chiropractic is going to make sure of that.
We're going to have to
Long-term
take your
care focus.
cold, dead hands off.
That's right. Off this microphone and out of this seat. Connect Chiropractic makes sure that Sean, Brenda, Mike Spalding, nobody's knocking me out of this seat. Connect makes me feel strong, makes me feel big. Yeah. Let's go. Connect has been voted Milwaukee's top chiropractor. Locations in Tosa and Delafield. They are the real deal. They help with headaches, sleep concerns, neuropathy, making sure you stay in the seat you want to stay in.
I'm not messing with you.
Don't do it, because Connect has got me right where I want to be. It's Connect Chiropractic.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Painting is the easiest way to breathe new life into your home. I know, because we did it with CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Let the pros there help you choose the right color to your home. You're going to love it for years to come. Call your neighborhood CertaPro Painter. Ask about their color consultation services. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
For your new roof, we'll give you the hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty in the industry. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Lynch McQuanago, the place you want to go. Lynch McQuanago.
Chevrolets, Fords, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. All in one location. The place you want to go, Lynch McQuanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Your locally owned hometown station gives you the news and what it means to you. Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 4 o'clock. I'm John Mercure, your top story investing in technology and artificial intelligence.
I'm Julia Fellow. Felony charges for driving the getaway car.
I'm Debbie Lazago. Westbound on 94, slowing from 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Got some slowdowns on southbound 41, too, from Silver Spring down to Hampton, and then again right through the Capitol Drive area. Southbound 43 is tightening up right through the Marquette interchange, just to the high-rise bridge. And then on southbound 894 from Beloit Road, going to see a little bit of a backup heading into the Hale. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 13 degrees. Tomorrow, a few flurries, a high of 22. It's currently 24. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, President-elect Donald Trump is announcing more investments into the U.S. when he takes office. He wants to put billions of dollars focusing on technology and artificial intelligence.
This commitment further underscores that many of the greatest business leaders on earth are seeing a very bright economic future for America. Since the election, as you know, a lot of positive things have happened.
Trump says he's inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration.
This just into our newsroom. A car chase leads to a crash that damaged the Milwaukee Public Library at MLK Drive and Locust. This is on the north side, just happened this afternoon. Library entrance that was under construction is taped off and overhanging roof is collapsed. That's what we're seeing. We'll have more details as they become available.
In Milwaukee, 18-year-old Quintiares Morris is accused of harboring or aiding a felon. Morris was allegedly behind the wheel of a car when his passenger shot two people in a parked white Kia as they drove past 37th and Scott on Milwaukee's west side on Christmas Day. 15-year-old Ezeal Riviera died from gunshot wounds to the head and chest at the scene. 18-year-old Naya Vasquez died at the hospital. The car Morris was driving was eventually found burnt in Deneen Park. Cash bond is set for $7,500.
Meta is ending its fact-checking program with third parties. Facebook, Instagram, Threads users will instead be offered a community notes option, similar to X. News Nation's Colby Hall.
If a bunch of people see something that someone has posted and it's not accurate, if there's an addendum to that says, okay, there's more to this story or this is actually wrong and here's the link to prove that, it's a smart business move. And I think it ideally empowers the user base to self-moderate.
Founder Mark Zuckerberg says simplifying these policies will help the company reduce mistakes.
The debate over the TikTok ban reaches the Supreme Court this week. One business owner here in Milwaukee is already creating a plan B.
The man in Milwaukee known as JMatt has more than 180,000 followers on TikTok. He founded hashtag MKE and coaches others on social media.
Last year was my first year self-employed full-time, and I made 46% of my income from sponsored content. A lot of those sponsorships had TikTok involved.
JMatt isn't sitting back and waiting to see if the TikTok ban goes through. He's already planning on it.
And what will I do to pivot to make sure that I'm able to bring in enough income to sustain my lifestyle?
Jessica Tai, WTMJ News.
A lack of meaningful snow on the ground is once again hurting northern Wisconsin. Here's Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Isnansky.
I know we really hammered on it last year, but they're off to another terrible start. Now, granted, it's been cold that they can do some ice fishing and stuff, but they've had less snow than we've had. Many parts of the state, like Wausau and Points North. And I'm not seeing anything major, even for the Northwoods here for a while.
And last winter was the warmest on record since they began records in 1895. Your complete 5-day forecast is coming up in 10 minutes.
Coming up, the 2025 Global Risk Report is out. Which concern tops the list?
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 4:04.
This report is sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. SidingUnlimited.com.
America's Best installer of America's Best replacement windows does not have the word windows in their name. Their name is Siding. Siding Unlimited. Hey, the Sons took Dad's siding business and ran with it. Siding Unlimited, the family-owned Wisconsin company, keeps climbing to the top of Pella Windows of Pella, Iowa's awards. Siding Unlimited, one of only 5 Pella Premier installers in the whole country. But better than that, the top. For 4 of the past 5 years, Pella has honored Siding Unlimited as their National Certified Contractor of the Year. You want windows? Pay Wisconsin prices with this great local company, delivering National Championship award-winning service. Great craftsmanship, clean up behind, and leave the job better than before and better than expected. You know, the company with Wisconsin family values. Pride in integrity, pride in people, pride in Wisconsin. SidingUnlimited.com.
During your career, investments piled up. From 401ks to brokerage accounts, it turned into quite a collection. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe every portfolio tells a story. We've analyzed thousands. Some reflect diligence and fortitude. Others, a mishmash of overlapping investments. When Annex reviews a portfolio, we spot what works, what might not, and then provide unbiased suggestions. Every portfolio tells a story. Let's work on yours. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary. That's our story. Head to AnnexWealth.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by MJ's former teammate, Dr. Lloyd Walton. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 4:06.
Geopolitical risk and consulting firm Eurasia Group has released its annual list of top global risks. It includes the biggest concern, lack of international leadership. President and founder says this includes the U.S.
American allies are panicked about this. They're right now in crisis talks about what they can do, and what they can do could include actually putting some restraints on Twitter X. But at the same time, they're deeply concerned. Well, if he's that close to Trump, is that going to affect our relationship? Is he speaking for them? Is Twitter X a part of the military-industrial complex of the United States? Are they a national champion?
The group adds poor leadership means there's, quote, no power to drive the global agenda and maintain international order.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All sports desk. The Packers begin the practice week on Wednesday. How much will quarterbacks Jordan Love and Malik Willis be able to do after suffering injuries in Sunday's loss to the Bears?
I couldn't tell you right now because I talked to both of those guys. They seem to be doing all right, but as far as their limits, I think they're going to be okay, but we'll find out over the next 2 days.
Love is dealing with an elbow injury. Willis has a hand injury. The Packers are 4.5-point underdogs for Sunday's wild card game against the Eagles in Philly. ESPN is reporting the Chicago Bears have sought permission from the Cowboys to speak with Mike McCarthy regarding their head coaching vacancy. And college basketball tonight. 7th-ranked Marquette continues Big East play against Georgetown. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN at 7 o'clock.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 4:08.
Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at PellaWI.com.
It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Plenty of gray, frigid days on the horizon where we all just want to be snuggly and warm at home. That's where Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin comes in. Their inviting doors welcome friends and family into a cozy home thanks to Pella's gorgeous, energy-efficient windows, keeping the cold out. Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin showroom today so you can learn the Pella difference and get inspired on making your home more energy efficient and beautiful with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hurry! You only have until January 31st to score Pella's New Year's special. 0% interest for up to 3 years. Certain restrictions apply. Visit PellaWI.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
All right, happy Tuesday. We continue to watch the Capitol Hill processional and now service for former President Jimmy Carter right now in the Rotunda, a prayer service honoring President Carter. Kamala Harris is there. Her husband, Doug. Next to them is Mike Johnson, other dignitaries, Hakeem Jeffries from the U.S. House. Prayer service underway. His casket is in the Capitol Rotunda. It will lie in state there until Thursday when his funeral takes place.
What made the headlines this afternoon in Milwaukee was the crime data statistics that were just released for the end of year. And what stole the show wasn't that. It's what's still not happening. It was supposed to be more than a year ago. 25 school resource officers are supposed to be in Milwaukee Public Schools, as mandated by Act 12. The governor even saying in a news conference that was released yesterday, it's clearly breaking the law. And here is Mayor Cavalier Johnson pointing fingers as to why, saying it's not him who's delaying it.
It's not a City of Milwaukee issue, although we will be the ones leading to work to make sure that the issue is resolved.
The mayor said before MPS paid for the costs during the school year when they had it, the city paid for the SROs through the summer. So the fight is over who's going to pay for it. So now we know the veil has been revealed or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Now we know, right? Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why the SROs were removed, it was following the death of George Floyd by a Minnesota police officer. The Milwaukee School Board voted unanimously then in 2020 to get rid of school resource officers. The mayor saying that may have been too rash of a decision.
I think that the school district should not have severed the relationship in the first place. I think they probably went a little too far.
And Chief Jeffrey Norman updates where Milwaukee police stand on this issue.
Once we are able to get a point where all parties agree about what is the, rules of engagement, so to speak, we'll see the program back again.
And our WTMJ's Sean Brinda was actually in the room when all of these questions started popping up. So, Sean, what was the environment? What was was there tension at all as they were answering those questions?
Yeah, Julia. I mean, there wasn't as much tension with the press when it came to discussing SROs in Milwaukee Public Schools. Obviously, the mayor knows, the deadline has passed, and he is open to talking with MPS. But he made it vehemently clear that, MPS is going to have to pay for the majority of those SROs, and it's not coming out of Milwaukee residents' taxpayers' money. So,
hey, let's move on to the other thing, Sean, that were covered there at the press conference. It was to talk about crime statistics. Some were up, some were down. What stood out to you?
Yeah, overall, great year for the Milwaukee Police Department in terms of reducing crime. Overall, within the past 2 years between 2022 to 2024, crime reduced overall by 12%. And out of those, that includes homicides, burglaries, theft, arson, assault. That's part of the list. One of the major concerns, though, that Chief Norman put out there was that the MPD was still working on making sure that carjackings and car thefts were taken seriously, because that was one thing that they weren't able to reduce this year.
We don't allow carjackings to take place too long in our community, especially when you get engaged in that behavior. It is a short run. But we do understand there's still others who are willing to take that risk that we need to make sure that we're being proactive and in front of.
One of the other major things out of this report is that homicides and non-fatal shootings, both those crimes reduced by 20% in 2024. So that's really big. But, Chief Norman brought up a point that, these crimes a majority of them were done by juveniles.
Yes, we had double-digit reduction, but it could be even more. Many of those homicides were a kid with a handgun, unfortunately using it against another child. Absolutely preventable and absolutely unacceptable.
And, Chief Norman accredits the department for working with community groups in terms of reducing crime, but he's looking forward to, talking with those groups further on in the year to reduce crime throughout the rest of 2025.
We are engaged in our community. That is really part of the culture of the Milwaukee Police Department. But beyond that, we are working with our elected officials. We are working with community-based organizations. We're working with anyone, as I've always said, who want to work with us. And so that culture is really, truly driving the Milwaukee Police Department, but also showing that we really want to be partners with our community.
So crime is down. That's good news. It's down 12% overall. Homicides are down. Work to do when it comes to robberies, human trafficking, and carjackings. So that's kind of the story. Sean Brinda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is 4:14 at WTMJ. Traffic and weather. Then Homer talks Packers up next on WTMJ.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
Wanted to get you some information on the shooting suspect in that United Healthcare CEO shooting that took place in New York.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
Charged with murder as an act of terrorism. Kind of bizarre when I saw that.
Tune in to Wisconsin's afternoon news, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Otto's Wine and Spirits. Otto's, it's the best thing going. It's where I do a lot of my shopping. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits. They've got wine experts in every Otto's. I know you've been by the locations. Head into one. I just like the feel when I'm in there. Best price on spirits, vodka, bourbon, whiskey, gin, all of that stuff. Best selection on beer and seltzers. Over the holidays, they had the really fun stuff, the different flavors of seltzers. It is Otto's Wine and Spirits, Wisconsin strong, best selection, best value. It's Otto's, serving Milwaukee since 1945. They've been here since World War II. Employee-friendly staff, employee-owned, open 7 days a week. They are Otto's Wine and Spirits.
This message is sponsored by WisCaregiver.com. People across Wisconsin are enjoying the rewards, stability, and flexibility of a career in healthcare. Why not you? WisCaregiver.com gets you started. Choose between two great options. Become a CDCP, Certified Direct Care Professional, or a CNA, Certified Nurse Aide. Training is free, plus earn a $500 bonus. It's easy to start your new career. Learn more at WisCaregiver.com.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlawns Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlawns.com when you're due for service.
Traffic and then weather. Let's get to our Debbie Lossiga. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Hey there, Julia. We do have a little bit of a backup westbound 94, starting at about 20th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound on 41, heavy from Hampton down past Capitol Drive, almost to Burleigh. Got some backups along southbound 43 as well, just through the Marquette, and then you are back on the brakes from I'd say base of the high-rise bridge all the way down towards the KK River crossing, and on the bypass heading southbound between Beloit Road and the Hale Interchange. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, then a few flurries are possible throughout our area, a high of 22. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 28 degrees. Friday, a slight chance of snow, a high of 30 degrees. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 32 degrees.
It's time to get caught up on the green and gold. No one has a better outlook on the team than the man referred to as Homer.
First time they had the ball, they had 10 plays, 8 were runs, and the 2 passes were to the halfback. I don't believe anybody thought that he would run that much, and if they had tried, I'm not sure Favre and Rodgers would have allowed it.
It's time to get caught up on the green and gold with today's insider, ESPN Milwaukee's Steve the Homer True on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Homer, good afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Happy to do it. Not as happy as LaFleur should be.
Where are you right now?
Luckiest man in America. That was the worst late-game management in the history of the NFL, and it doesn't matter because they didn't have to win the game, so we can all move on, and he doesn't have to have the entire week about how bad it was. It was similar to flipping a coin, and you have both heads and tails, and you still find a way to lose. It's impossible.
Yeah, it was bad. He owned it at least. He did own it. He said, yeah, I screwed it up, and he did.
Yeah, no, they won the game. Packers won the game, and then he lost it because even if he runs and makes a play or goes for the kick, you let the clock go down. It's not like you have to do it one way if you're going to play.
Right.
He doesn't even have to know what he's going to do. He can need to have a 40th meeting, but you got to let the clock go down. And so I'm happy for him because it would have been right up here with 4th and 26, and now didn't make any difference. Washington helped him out by scoring on the last play of the game, and so now we can move on, and maybe it will help irritate the team to be embarrassed and want to play well. Yes, if the Packers win, guaranteed, the loss to the Bears will be used as the major reason why.
That's a really good point. I really like that. I hadn't thought about it that way. Let's talk about those two teams, Philadelphia and Green Bay. They met a long time ago. It was week 1. Which team has improved more since week 1, do you believe? Is it the Eagles or is it the Packers?
Probably the Eagles, but the Eagles are just better. I mean, that's what everybody has to know. I don't think there's anybody in the state aside from the team that really thinks the Packers are going to win. They want the Packers to win, and actually the Packers have a decent chance. They were a bigger underdog last year against Dallas.
Yep.
And they won. So, and I like the team, but no, the Philly does literally everything better than the Packers do, but it's close. There are just a lot of good things about the Packers. Unfortunately, this year, all the games against the good teams they've lost, and they've been close. So maybe they'll finally win one. But there's way less confidence than there should be. It's not like anybody should be overconfident, but the Packers are a pretty good team. And I don't think that if Jordan Love is hurt, that would be a problem. I don't think he is. Hurts might be more of an issue. He's been out with concussion, but I'm assuming he's going to play, and he's probably okay by now. But he hasn't. He's been out for like 16, 17 days, so he's going to be rusty. That's a plus for the Packers.
What's your prediction?
What's my prediction?
Yeah.
My prediction is, given the season, the Packers will lose 27-25.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Homer, you mentioned that, nobody you talk to, and I watch a lot of and listen to a lot of national sports shows. Everybody's talking about how the Packers are going to get smacked down. Is fuel real in locker rooms? Does that fuel them? Can that help?
Maybe, but my comment to the people is that look at the games the Packers have lost.
Yep.
They've been close.
Yep.
Packers are a good team. I will be very disappointed if it's a blowout like that. I expect it to be close because all their games, and they've been behind early, they've still come back. So I just don't. I don't think that gives the Packers, okay, the Packers are 0-5. Look at those games, and look how close they were. Packers are top 10 offensively and defensively for the first time in a decade or whatever. My man Cooper, he is possibly able to stop their running game. So I'm just afraid it's going to be like kind of the whole season. They've kind of been unlucky in terms of everything that they did wrong. It ended up costing them against the Bears, like the defense at the end. And then Watson getting hurt. That's a tough break. They certainly could have used him. So you just get the feeling that things are just going in the wrong direction. But that does not change. The Packers are a good team. Yes, Detroit's really good, and the division's gotten better, and Minnesota's good. But Packers are good. And
we're
so
due for one, Homer. We're due for one of these against a good team.
Yes, we're due for one.
Where are you right now?
I am at Fiserv Forum because Marquette is playing against Georgetown. And when they do pregame stuff, they always try to do it at a level of like 100. They apparently want you to be able to hear it to Chicago. But
well, don't say anything bad about Marquette.
How good is Marquette? They're number 7 in the nation. How good's the squad?
Marquette's very good as well, yes.
Yeah,
Marquette
did good last year.
They were good last year, and the thought was they wouldn't be as good this year because they lost 2 players to the NBA. But it's real simple. As long as Shaka Smart's the coach, they're going to be good. It's just a question of how good. Everybody's happy. They love him as a representative of the university. He's a good coach. And there'll be the debate as to how good and how often, or should they make the Final Four. But Marquette people, I believe, are as happy as they've been since Al McGuire left.
You sound happy, and we like that. ESPN Milwaukee.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch them play. No one has ever complimented me for my performance after a loss. So when they win, oh, baby, it's good.
Homer, have a good call tonight.
You bet. 6th-ranked team in the country.
Let's go. It is 4:24 at WTMJ. Let's check out those markets on your Tuesday. It wasn't a great day for the markets. The Dow was down 375 points. The Dow was off 178. The S&P down 66 points on the day. Man, we got to get this turned around. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Know the difference. Annex Wealth Management.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Dave Drakekamp Heating. Dave Drakekamp Heating. Right now, you need to make sure that your furnace is working so the heating is working at your house. I know I don't have an issue. I know it's no big deal because Dave Drakekamp's been coming to my house for, I don't know, a dozen years, 14 years, something like that. They always make sure, whether it's the furnace in the winter or the AC in the summer, that we are ready to go, that we are good to go. Dave Drakekamp Heating wants to make sure that your family's taken care of. They've been doing business here for a long, long time in our neck of the woods. They're invested in our community. At Dave Drakekamp, your comfort is their family's tradition. They mean it all the time. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency, I've had that happen one time at about 2 o'clock in the morning, or whether you need a new system, that happens too. They replaced my system several years ago. Dave Drakekamp Heating is going to get it done. They're going to take care of you. They're just a phone call away. Free consultation. Thinking about new equipment? Think you might need it? Dave Drakekamp will give you a free consultation. Still family-owned and operated. Call Dave Drakekamp Heating today. They're the real deal. Visit DaveDrakekamp.com. Just Google it, DaveDrakekamp.com.
If you're looking to build or remodel, then check out the 2025 Metropolitan Builders Association Home Building and Remodeling Show, presented by Nuns, January 10th through the 12th at State Fair Park. Learn about the latest home building and remodeling trends from over 150 MBA industry experts. For more information and tickets, visit MBAHomeshow.com. If building and remodeling is on your to-do list in 2025, then don't miss the MBA Home Building and Remodeling Show this weekend at State Fair Park.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Eric Bilstead. As we ring in 2025, are you heading into the new year with the same old joint pain? It's time to make a resolution, to get moving again. No more achy joints for your knees, your hips, shoulders, or your back. You're going to call QC Kinetics in 2025, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. Got locations in Greenfield and Mequon under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions. So many of your neighbors here in Milwaukee are living life again without the constant pain in their joints. Here's what you do. Resolve to get lasting relief in 2025. Call QC Kinetics today, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today. Happy New Year.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. You business owner, I got a perfect way for you to freshen up your business. How about a fresh coat of paint? Call your neighborhood CertaPro painter. Ask about their color consultation services. I use CertaPro. They're the best. They're affordable. They're efficient. They do things the right way. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Homeowners, this is the way to freshen up your house like we did. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. That's the guys I trust. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro painters.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
The holiday season may be coming to a close, but there's still plenty of time to make it a magical one. Ring in the new year with something stunning and timeless from Diamonds Direct. Start the new year with a celebration of your love, or even a celebration of yourself. Whether you're shopping for the perfect wedding bands, a beautiful pair of diamond studs that were missing from under your tree, or the engagement ring of their dreams, Diamonds Direct has just what you're wishing for. This year, make your New Year's resolution to shop smarter by shopping direct. Making a decision on where to make your next jewelry purchase has never been easier. At Diamonds Direct, you're guaranteed to get an extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and the white glove service that we've long been known for. Let the experts at Diamonds Direct show you the difference in a concierge luxury shopping experience. Kick off the new year the way you've always wanted. Customize your experience in-store or online at DiamondsDirect.com today. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment, Flanders.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanders Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanders, just press play.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 4:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story, the push to reduce gun-related crimes.
I'm Julia Fellow, adding to downtown Milwaukee's skyline.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. We are seeing some delays on 43 southbound from just before Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette, over the high-rise bridge all the way down to the KK River. Northbound's backing up right around the North Avenue curve, so watch out for that. Westbound 94, we're seeing backups out of the Marquette all the way past the Mitchell Boulevard area. Eastbound, we're looking at delays from just east of 84th Street all the way through to about 27th. Southbound 41 really starting to hit the brakes just south of Appleton Avenue, and that'll take you all the way down past Capitol Drive with a slow ride. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, then a chance of a few flurries in our area. The high will be 22 degrees tomorrow.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, over the past 2 years, crime has declined in the city of Milwaukee. Homicides and non-fatal shootings have declined in 2024 by over 20% each. But Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says more can be done to reduce gun-related crimes.
Yes, we had double-digit reduction, but it could be even more. Many of those homicides were a kid with a handgun, unfortunately using it against another child. Absolutely preventable and absolutely unacceptable.
Chief Norman says MPD will continue to work with community partners to reduce gun violence in the city this year.
A car chase leads to a crash into a library. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office were doing surveillance at a home near 2nd and Lloyd to find a 36-year-old man who was wanted for burglary, and then he fled the home, according to police, just after 2:30 this afternoon. And officers chased. The suspect ran a red light at MLK and Locust on the north side, hit another car, and eventually crashed into the library construction entrance right on the corner there. A 23-year-old construction worker inside the building was hurt. The drivers of both cars were not hurt, but there's serious damage to all of those cars. Charges are pending.
An ice fisherman has died after falling through the ice in Marquette County. Sheriff's deputies arrived just after 10 a.m. yesterday to Lawrence Lake in Westfield Township to reports of the fisherman falling through the ice on a UTV. Despite rescue efforts, the man died. As a safety reminder, officers remind the public to avoid going onto frozen lakes or rivers unless they've confirmed the ice is thick enough for safe activities.
In Milwaukee, funding is secured to build another high-rise.
The 31-story apartment tower would become the tallest mass timber high-rise in the state, located near Edison and State Street along the Milwaukee River. That's right near the Marcus Performing Arts Center. The Milwaukee Business Journal says Neutral, which is based out of Madison, has closed on the bank financing, and construction could start this year. The apartment tower would have about 370 units, but still needs buy-in from members of the Common Council. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
A new report from Zillow reveals the hottest housing markets for 2025.
Buffalo, New York, known for its wacky winter weather and namesake chicken wing, will be the hottest major housing market in 2025, as it was in 2024. Zillow's ranking takes into account local home values, the rate that homes are selling, job growth per new home permitted, and expected growth in owner-occupied households. Indianapolis, Providence, Hartford, and Philadelphia round out the top 5. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Today's services for former President Jimmy Carter shifted to Washington, D.C. His body is currently lying in state at the U.S. Capitol building. It's going to be for 2 days while the public pays their respects. Historian Larry Cook was a friend of the late president.
His legacy will be great for his humanitarian work and just for the life that he lived, the example that he's given the world. Both he and Rosalind. It's hard to talk about one without speaking about the other because they were exactly the same in their faith and the way that they lived.
A public funeral will be held on Thursday. The country will observe a national day of mourning, meaning all federal offices will be closed.
Donald Trump Jr. is visiting Greenland today as President-elect Trump continues calls for the U.S. to control the territory. News Nation's Nick Smith.
Younger Trump heading to the islands as his dad continues to talk about the U.S. annexing the Danish territory now, which Denmark says is not for sale. Don Jr. is reportedly tapping footage for a podcast and will only be there for 1 day. His trip comes on the heels of Greenland's prime minister publicly calling for Greenland's independence from Denmark.
Trump says Greenland is an incredible place and says the people there will benefit if or when it becomes part of our nation.
Folk singer and activist Peter Yarrow has died after fighting bladder cancer for several years.
Peter Yarrow wrote and sang lead on Peter, Paul, and Mary's trademark song. 2016, he told Paste magazine what it was all about.
Innocence of childhood, of having a world in which there is so much that's wonderful.
Mary Travers died in 2009. Paul Stuckey is the only surviving group member now. He calls Yarrow his musical younger brother with wisdom beyond his years. Peter Yarrow was 86. Peter King, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo needed 3 stitches to close a cut on his right pinky during the game against the Toronto Raptors last night. He did return to the game and finished his 4th triple-double of the season, helping the team to a 128-104 road win over the struggling Raptors. The Wisconsin basketball men's team got its first road win of the season. Actually, Brandon says that's not correct. They got a road win, and they are now 75-63 against Rutgers. The Lady Badgers head to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies on the hardwood. That tip is at 8 o'clock. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more. Here we go. We're going to give away. This is incredible. It's one of my favorite giveaways of the year. A $150 Vienna Beef gift card.
Whoa.
$150. We've got a little trivia game we want to play with you. So call right now. Brandon's going to line up the phone calls. Then we've got a trivia question. And whoever answers it first correctly wins $150 in Vienna Beef. Here's the phone number. 855-616-1620. The Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line is 855-616-1620. Call now. We pick a winner and play trivia after the break.
Outdoor Living at Unlimited News Time, 4:37.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semperfi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
All right, here we go. We're giving away a $150 Vienna Beef gift card. It is the Vienna Beef tailgate giveaway. I love this. Vienna Beef rocks. They're the best. They've got the best product. And right now, you call the WTMJ Siding Unlimited talk and text line at 855-616-1620. You've got the chance to win. All right, so I've got a trivia question here. We are going to go to the phones, and we're going to see the first person to get this correct will win. Let's start with Jason in Oconomowoc. Jason, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
First caller, okay.
Here we go. You get first crack at the trivia question. Here it is. Where did the nickname the Green Bay Packers come from? Where did the nickname come from? Choice 1. In the early days of the team, the Indian Packing Company donated money for the Green Bay uniforms, and the grateful team called themselves the Packers. Choice number 2. Since the beginning of the franchise, Green Bay sold out every game, and one of the first team presidents probably called the team the Packers, and it stuck. Number 3, the Acme Packing Company funded the first Packers stock sale and helped save the team. The Green Bay Board of Directors named the young franchise the Green Bay Packers. Here's your fourth choice. Curly Lambeau and Don Hudson worked at a Brown County Boxes and Packing Company. They convinced Green Bay residents to adopt the name Green Bay Packers in 1918. Your choices are Indian Packing Company. They sold out every game. They're the Packers. The Acme Packing Company is your third choice, or Curly Lambeau and Don Hudson worked at a packing company. What is the correct choice? Why are they called the Packers?
They are called the Packers because of the Indian Packing Company.
You won! You crushed it! Jason, this is the first time all season it's happened. Why did I waste my time? I made up the other three. Right out of my brain.
Well, you did a pretty good job.
You did a great job. Congratulations. Did you know from the beginning, as soon as I read the first one, did you know?
I was between Indian and Acme, and I couldn't remember. I took a guess at Indian. It was just a little more obscure.
Good. You are amazing. All right, what are you going to do with all that beef? What are you going to do with $150 worth of beef from Vienna?
I'm eating good.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Gotta
for
have
sure.
some people over, right?
Have some people
over. Got a Packer
over?
game coming up this weekend.
How are you feeling about the game? The Packers are 4.5-point underdogs in Philly. How you feeling?
Good. Flying under the radar.
I think so, too. Homer pointed out correctly.
Pick them off one by one.
That they were bigger underdogs last year. They can do it. I bet you the Eagles are nervous. The Packers are a good football team. This is not an easy matchup for them. Let's
I'm
go.
going for it.
All right, Jason.
Have I been talking this whole time with my mic off?
No, it's on.
I think I am.
Can you hear Julia? You can hear her, right, Jason?
I don't know. I just noticed it was off. Okay, good.
I can hear her.
Okay, good. Congrats.
Jason, stay on the line. Nick
Thank
is
you.
going to get your, why did I say Nick? I'm sorry, Brandon. The best producer we've ever had is Brandon. Brandon's going to get your information and get you all hooked up, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I spent a lot of time writing these questions, these answers, and he crushed it. You could tell
our
that he
listeners are so smart.
He knew what he was talking about.
Absolutely.
Sue and everybody else who's on hold who called in, thank you so much for doing this. If the Packers win, I think we'll do another one next week. So if the Packers win and they continue to play, we'll give away another gift card next week. Vienna beef, the all-beef hot dog. I love it with some mustard and some relish and some sports peppers. It's Vienna beef all the way. It is 4:42 at WTMJ. Dr. John Raymond, warning labels on alcohol. What's this all about? Why is this a big deal? Dr. Raymond is with us straight ahead on WTMJ.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
John Mercure here for Annex Wealth Management. Investment and retirement planning, it's important, but too many people just put it off. A new year is a great reminder to have a talk with the teams I trust at Annex Wealth Management. Getting to know Annex is easy. If it makes sense, you move forward. And there's nothing wrong with a second look at your current plan, especially if your current partner is going through changes that make you uncomfortable. Work with a fee-only fiduciary. At Annex, they're fee-only all the time. That means they just completely look out for you. And it's a big deal. Annex operates as one team, in-house financial planning, investment, tax, and estate teams, all in-house. Annex makes it convenient with branches across the WTMJ listening area, and meeting online, that's no problem either. That's where Annex Everywhere comes into play. Plenty of global tension. There's still market volatility. It's time for a seasoned approach for you and your family. The time to do something is sooner rather than later. Visit AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button, schedule your own appointment today. We did that years ago. It's Annex Wealth Management. They're the real deal. Fee-only fiduciary all the time. Know the difference with Annex.
Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContractingWI.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. Zero wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? TriCountyContractingWI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. TriCountyContractingWI.com.
Traffic and then weather. Let's get to our Debbie Lazaga. Hey, Deb.
Hey there. Looks like we've got a bit of an issue northbound on 94, just past College Avenue. We got the right lane blocked with a broken down vehicle. Looks like it might be a semi, so that's going to be causing some issues. Just past that, just in that same neck of the woods, looks like we do have a crash there too. So that's going to start to slow things down basically from Rawson all the way up to the airport spur. Westbound 94 backing up from 16th Street all the way through to Hawley Road. Eastbound is backed up from 84th Street on and off the brakes basically all the way through the stadium. And then on southbound 43, we got some delays from just south of North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge down to the KK River crossing. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 13 degrees. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, a few flurries possible throughout our area, a high of 22 degrees. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 28 degrees. Friday, a chance of light snow throughout the day in our area, high of 30 degrees. Saturday, cloudy, a high of 32 degrees.
Dr. John Raymond is with us in the studio. Hey, first, Dr. Raymond, I wanted to tell you that we had Dr. Clark Gamblin in the studio yesterday. He's doing this incredible thing. He's such a great guy. He's running 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents to raise money for testicular cancer research. And we asked him, I think Julie asked him, do you know Dr. Raymond? And he went on and on about what a great leader you are.
Yeah, well, I'd love to go on and on about Clark. He's an amazing surgeon and a wonderful human being.
His first stop is Antarctica.
That's the first marathon is in Antarctica.
You know what? Working at MCW and the surgery department is like running a marathon every day. So he's used to it.
So he is ready.
Yeah.
Dr. Raymond is the president and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin. We want to talk a little bit today about something that's been in the news, Dr. Raymond. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy last week issued an advisory warning Americans that alcohol consumption can increase cancer risk. He's also calling for health warning labels on alcoholic beverages. So I guess I want to start with, what is a Surgeon General advisory? Does it mean alcoholic beverages now must carry the cancer warning label?
Yeah, thank you, John. Great question, and thanks for the visibility here. So a Surgeon General's advisory is just a strongly stated warning that really is intended to deliver a clear message to the public about health risks. Advisories are somewhat uncommon, and they're usually reserved for very significant events. General Murthy actually issued a whole series of lifestyle advisories recently. Now, these often become turning points for the nation's health habits. There was an advisory in 1964 about cigarettes that changed the thinking that they were healthy for you to that they were unhealthy. And so it's possible that this could start that, but there is no way that this will compel beverage makers to have a warning label. That actually takes an act of Congress.
So why now?
Yeah, really a great question. We might say that it's timely because over the last 10 years, there's been a growing body of evidence that even a little bit of alcohol consumption can be associated with the risk of 7 to 8 different kinds of cancers. So it is timely, but, we've actually known about this risk since 1987. The International Agency for Research on Cancer first classified alcohol as carcinogenic in humans back in 1987, and they assigned it to Group 1, which is the highest risk. So there's been good evidence for a long time. But what's fascinating is only 45% of Americans know that there's a cancer risk associated with alcohol. I didn't know that. So this really is intended to help people make good choices, to raise their awareness about the risk.
Is it beer, wine, spirits? Is it all of it?
Unfortunately, it's all of it. And I think we tend to think of beer and wine as softer liquors, but they're really not. It really depends on the amount that you consume. But a shot of whiskey is about the same as a 12-ounce glass of beer and a 6 or 9 ounce pour of wine.
Sometimes, it's surprising, it's confusing, but what do we know about the long-term health effects of consuming alcohol?
Yeah, again, this is an area of confusion. that we are still hearing about the benefits of the Mediterranean diet. And some people believe that the positive heart benefits are due to red wine. That may not actually be true. There have been studies over the last 5 years that somewhat debunk that. But there is possibly a cardiovascular benefit to modest drinking, but that now is being challenged. What we know in the long term is that alcohol is associated with the risk of 8 different types of cancer, like bladder cancer, cancer of the lips and mouth, cancer of the esophagus, the stomach, the intestine, the colon, and surprisingly, breast cancer.
Wow.
Are all associated with increased risk. And what's really alarming is that the risk starts with a single drink per week, and it goes up. So, for example, an 80-year-old woman has a 17% lifetime risk of developing an alcohol-related cancer with just one drink a week. If they have a drink a day, that goes up to 19%, 2 drinks a day up to 22 to 23%. So, there's a gradation. The more you drink, the higher your risk.
Yep. Okay, so we've talked about alcohol and different topics in the past on the show. Does this advisory change your thinking about the risks of alcohol consumption?
Well, I think everything in life is a risk, so
Right.
we'll start there.
Right.
And everybody should really assess the risk and benefit of whatever they do. So alcohol would be in the same category. So I wouldn't advise every single person to become a teetotaler, but everybody should be aware that the more they drink, the more their risk is of developing a cancer. So if you're going to drink in moderation.
I was surprised by exactly where in the body. I don't think you mentioned liver, but do you have any ideas on how alcohol might increase the risk of all those cancers?
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, it is increased with a risk of liver cancer.
Okay,
So
good.
thank you for covering that
that's
omission
okay.
for me. Good thing that you're here. Yeah. So how could alcohol cause cancer? Lots of different ideas. Alcohol induces the production of what we call free radicals that can damage tissue. Also, metabolites of alcohol can damage DNA. And alcohol itself, with long exposures to mucous membranes, might also induce cancers. So we really don't know. There's just a lot of ideas about what might happen.
I want to ask you a personal question.
Sure.
Do you drink?
Not very much. Because of my job, I don't think it's ever a good idea to have alcohol in your breath when you're talking to a donor or a partner, or if you're going to get into a car. So for this 15 years that I've been here, I've hardly had anything to drink. Now, when my wife and I go on vacation, I'll have a glass of wine with dinner.
Yeah.
But that's pretty rare.
Yeah. So I guess the bottom line is, on so many topics you've told us, it's the M word, right?
Moderation. Moderation, personal choice, know the risks and benefits, and then make your own choice.
Hey, can we switch gears here? When we came back from break, it seemed like, Dr. Raymond, every single person, as I said, Happy New Year, how was it? Almost every person either had a stomach virus thing that went through them, or they had a respiratory illness that they were dealing with. It was amazing, like almost everybody, and I see Aurora's bringing back a mask mandate because of the stuff going on. What's going on out there? What are we seeing?
Yeah, this is not unexpected, John. And actually, over the holidays, I actually had a respiratory illness myself. So the big 6 are all circulating right now in terms of respiratory viruses. We all know about COVID, the flu, and respiratory syncytial virus. We've talked about those on the show before. But the common cold, human metapneumovirus, and mycoplasma, which is a bacteria, are all circulating right now. Mycoplasma we've talked about a few weeks ago. It's walking pneumonia. So all those are circulating. Just in terms of the GI bug that's going around, it's probably norovirus. It's a highly contagious virus. It's cruise ship virus, if you want to think about the popular vernacular. Highly contagious, causes very severe symptoms within 12 to 48 hours. What's tricky about that, though, is some people can be asymptomatic and they can carry and pass on the virus. So, we all got together over the holidays, maybe shared meals together. It's transmitted by touch and by food. So norovirus is probably the main reason why people are having GI symptoms.
How long until you get better with norovirus?
It depends on the individual, a couple of days usually.
Do you have good news of the week?
I've got 2, if it's all right with you.
Yeah, what do you got?
We've talked about GLP-1 drugs a lot. For the first time in decades, the obesity rate in the United States actually went down last year. which is really remarkable.
Yeah.
And we're going to attribute that primarily to the GLP-1 drugs.
Yep.
It'll be great when they're not so expensive,
Yep.
and we know a little bit more about them. But that's good news. And also Science Magazine, which is the preeminent scientific multidisciplinary journal, characterized their breakthrough of the year as a drug called lenacapavir. That is a twice-a-year subcutaneous injection to prevent HIV infection.
Oh.
And if you think about it, a lot of the problems with preventing HIV isn't that we have good drugs. We have them now. It's availability and compliance. People don't want to take multiple drugs multiple times each day. So to have an injection just in your skin 2 times a year that works is really remarkable.
Oh, yeah, because I've
That's
seen other
great stuff.
commercials that were,
Yeah.
you know, they have to take a pill every day or something like that.
Hey, we've got good news for you.
Great.
Julia has some really good news for you. She's the most generous person I know, and she got this for you.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
She got this for
It's
you for Christmas.
amazing.
Describe that.
It is about a 3-foot long.
Oh, it's in front of your microphone.
Stuffed dachshund. And Julia knows how much I love my dogs. We've got 2 long-haired mini dachshunds. So this is so nice of you, Julia. Thank you.
Julia, you describe that. It's beautiful. It's fluffy. It's,
I was mentioning
does it
on
go on his
TikTok-
bed? Does that go to block the draft by the door? What is that?
It's supposed to go across a bed.
Oh,
yeah, and
it's
it's
so
a
cute.
super, you know how long those little hot dog dogs
If we
are?
put it in our bed, we'll have 3 dachshunds in the bed with us. But
What the dachshunds will think of
because
it.
our 1.5-year-old likes to chew on things, I don't think
Oh,
it would
yeah,
last
that's a
very long
big
with him.
toy.
So he'll probably be looking up at it, hoping that he could jump up and grab it, but we're not going to put it within his reach.
Oh, it's beautiful and
amazing. Well,
soft
I
and
know how
fluffy.
much you
Oh, you're
love
so
dogs
that's
like
so
me.
thoughtful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Dr. Raymond, we really appreciate you. Thank you for always making the time to talk to us.
My pleasure. Thank you, John. and
It is
Julia.
4:56 at WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The St. Francis Brewery is reopening in 2025 under new leadership. The plan is to reopen the 7,200 square foot space in early spring. The brewery originally opened in 2009 before closing in the fall of 2019. Harley-Davidson factory employees in Metro Milwaukee returned to regular hours following rolling layoffs. The layoffs had been taking place since last summer amid production cuts. HIG Capital acquires Brookfield-based publisher Best Version Media. Terms of the transaction were not disclosed. The management and founders of Best Version Media will retain a minority stake in the company. I'm Logan Hans for MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today. Visit thepfisterhotel.com.
For over 130 years, the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee has been delighting guests with impeccable service and luxurious accommodations. Celebrate your next special occasion with a stay at this newly renovated Milwaukee icon. Enjoy fine dining at acclaimed restaurants and pamper yourself with a service from the Well Spa and Salon. Experience the hotel's afternoon tea program or take in live music with the best views of the city from Blue, the 23rd floor cocktail lounge. There's always a reason to celebrate with the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today at thepfisterhotel.com.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Pillow Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, they are the best in the business. You know part of the reason for that? They've got the best leader in the business. I bring up Gina Della's name all the time because she leads a company that's fantastic. They customize windows, they customize doors. Customer service is at the top of the list. Gina's at the top of the list. So is Julia at the Experience Center. You walk in there, she's going to greet you. She's going to take care of you. She's going to hook you up big time. Happy New Year from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And they've got a great deal to help you celebrate the new year. It's 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. 0% interest for up to 3 years. This is incredible. Certain restrictions apply. Visit PellaWI.com today. I'm doing work with Pella. I wouldn't have anybody else do the windows and doors in my house because they're a local company and everything about them just screams quality. Right now, through January 31st, check out the special 0% interest for up to 3 years. Wow. That's good stuff. Certain restrictions apply. Visit PellaWI.com.
When you work at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll be helping us help others. There are many that need our help, and we need your help to carry out our mission. St. Vincent de Paul is always looking for part-time team members. You'll get competitive pay, benefits, and flexibility in scheduling. So apply online at svdpmilw.org or stop by Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, or 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Through January 15th, buy a $100 gift card from the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant. Get a $20 gift card free. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Your hometown hub for everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm John Mercure. Your top story, proposing stricter voter ID requirements.
I'm Julia Fellow. Another dramatic ice rescue.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, and we did have an issue on northbound 94 just past College Avenue. We do have a crash there off on the right shoulder. That earlier disabled vehicle that was blocking the right lane, that's been cleared out of the way. But still, we've got the delays heading past that point. Be careful. Southbound on 43, backing up in pockets, basically from just south of Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette and over the high rise down to the KK River crossing. Make that Lincoln. We got northbound backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to about Locust, and then westbound 94, hefty ride there from 16th Street all the way to Holly Road. The eastbound side slowing from 84th Street all the way to about Holly Road as well. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 13. Tomorrow, a few flurries, a high of 22. It's currently 23. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, between 2022 and 24, crime declined in the city of Milwaukee by 12%. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says the department is working to reduce juvenile crime in the city.
So when we talk about these, young ones involved in these particular unfortunate circumstances, we as a community have to ask, how do we have a hand in that? How could we have prevented it? How could we have not made that another number?
Chief Norman reminds gun owners in Milwaukee to keep firearms secured and locked away from any juveniles.
Officers were speaking to a 19-year-old who was wanted for sexual assault of a child and child enticement at a home on the south side when a struggle ensued with a gun. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman.
While communicating with the suspect pulled out a firearm. A struggle ensued between two officers and a suspect over the firearm. One officer discharged his firearm, subsequently striking the suspect.
Suspect is in custody, expected to survive. 35-year-old officer involved is on administrative leave while they investigate.
A homeless encampment just outside Waukesha's Frame Park has been cleared out. Occupants were given a deadline of today to have their belongings off the private property where the encampment has been since last May. In December, Waukesha Mayor Sean Riley told WTMJ overall crime had not increased in the area.
Not having a home in itself is not a crime. You're allowed to congregate. You're allowed to be in a place. Where it becomes a problem is, when they have nowhere else to go.
Mayor Riley says people cannot camp on property that isn't zoned for camping, but those kind of ordinance and trespassing violations rarely get prosecuted.
Another UTV ice rescue. A man recovering after he fell through while riding his UTV on a lake in Chippewa County yesterday comes after two men were rescued when their UTV fell through the ice Sunday evening in Lake Sinisippi. One of those men was arrested for operating while drunk.
Stricter voter ID requirements could be coming to Wisconsin's Constitution. State Republicans are proposing a constitutional amendment for the April spring ballot to enshrine Wisconsin's photo ID requirement into the state constitution. Democrats argue the requirement makes it harder for people to vote, especially the elderly and those without an ID. Wisconsin is one of 9 states where voters must present a photo ID to cast a ballot.
Coming up, how are you going to handle TikTok withdrawal?
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 5:04.
James Imaging Systems. Local support, local accountability, local business technology representatives. Listen to Matheson Manufacturing President Al Leidinger.
She still checks in to see how things are going and if we need anything. So I really do appreciate that from a customer service standpoint.
Michael Quizan, IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank, discovered the benefits of working with the local team at James.
Our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
James Imaging Systems client Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, on dealing with James.
They are making sure you get the full value and life of every product that you have with them.
Local support, local accountability, local people. Get it all with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time AccuNet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life, but I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 5:06.
The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments Friday on whether TikTok should be banned in the U.S. One Milwaukee influencer is watching closely for a decision.
Here's my little J-Mat. Alex of Shrunk 3D asked if he could make me a mini-me.
That's Milwaukee influencer J-Mat. That video alone got nearly 290,000 views. In J-Mat's world, views mean dollar signs.
I made 46% of my income from sponsored content.
J-Mat is working this year on the assumption the TikTok ban goes through. He's pivoting and acknowledges he'll take a hit.
Because of engagement that I get on that content on Instagram compared to TikTok, I can't charge as much.
Jessica Tai, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The Packers begin the practice week on Wednesday. How much will quarterbacks Jordan Love and Malik Willis be able to do after suffering injuries in Sunday's loss to the Bears?
I couldn't tell you right now because I talked to both of those guys. They seem to be doing all right, but as far as their limits, I think they're going to be okay, but we'll find out over the next 2 days.
Love is dealing with an elbow injury. Willis has a hand injury. The Packers are 4.5-point underdogs for Sunday's wildcard game against the Eagles in Philadelphia. ESPN is reporting the Chicago Bears are seeking permission from the Cowboys to speak with Mike McCarthy regarding their head coaching vacancy. And college basketball tonight, 7th-ranked Marquette continues Big East play at home against Georgetown.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 5:08.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With colder weather in the forecast and no festivals to attend, our showroom is a year-round festival the whole family will enjoy. Read our reviews. Our store has it all, including the finest lighting and ceiling fans available, such as Visual Comfort, Hubbardton, Tech, and hundreds more at unbeatable prices. I guarantee it. If it's repairs or lampshades you need, we have all that too. There's also unique sports and historical items, neon lights, slot machines, and much more for sale. You'll find fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Saturday and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue near Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us. Happy Tuesday, everybody, or Wednesday Eve. Glad that you're here. All right, let's talk a little transportation, should we? The UK, I think a lot of people don't know this. Beginning tomorrow, if you travel to the United Kingdom, you have to apply for something called an ETA, and it's almost like a visa. It's called an electronic travel authorization. You need to fill this out before you leave America, and you need to spend $12.50, and you need to pay that to get into England. A lot of countries do this. Coming into the United States, we have a similar thing. It's called the United States ESTA, and if you come from a foreign country, you need to pay to come to the United States, which I never even realized. So if you're going to England beginning tomorrow, you have to pay this ETA. It's $12.50, because before, if you go to England, you just go through passport control, you get your bag, and you're on your way. Now you have to pay $12.50, and it's also a security thing because you pay that, and then they run your name through security to make sure that you're not a terrorist.
Do we charge them?
We do. I don't know what it is, though, but we charge them. It's called an ESTA, and it's a mandatory paid for authorization to travel into the United States. So now they're just like, yeah, we're going to do that, too. A decision will be given.
$21 was what I just saw.
What did you see, Deb?
The ESTA is $21.
Ooh, so we're charging more because we get to pay only $12.50 to go to England. Wow,
Jeez.
Okay. I never even knew that was a thing. I didn't know there was an ESTA.
No. But you're so joyful you got to a new country. You're like, yeah, I'll do whatever.
Yeah, and it's really
And it
not
just
much, I guess,
adds up.
relatively speaking, but it does add up.
So something that London also does, it has congestion tolls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they implemented it in 2003, and it's equivalent to $19 right now.
So what does that mean if you're driving during a busy time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the first city to do it in the U.S., it just happened a little while ago. It happened on the 1st of January, is New York City. They started doing this controversial congestion pricing toll. So 700,000 drivers on average go in and out of New York City each day. They're going to be charged $9 to enter. It's going to just automatically read your license plate, and the fee is dropped, like you asked, 75% at night. Here's New York's governor.
Traffic, it's down. It's down today. Congestion pricing or snow? I don't know.
Well, she was saying there was the weather yesterday, so she's not sure. They're hoping to get millions paid, with the city hoping to reduce gridlock and possibly even billions of dollars, they say. They hope it'll reduce the amount of drivers coming in by 80,000 a day, or more than 10% of traffic. Critics say it punishes people who do not live in Manhattan. But cities like Chicago are watching this closely, because if it works in New York, and people were really complaining.
Yep.
They had it all in and installed.
Yep.
And then
yeah, my
and then
daughter lives
installed.
there, and they've all been talking about it.
So it could be a model across the country for how to control urban traffic. So something that I would use coming in from the Indiana area, or coming in from Michigan, when I lived in Michigan, going all the way up to Wisconsin, was the Chicago Skyway.
We always use that.
It's already really expensive, and it just went up another 60 cents at the first of this year. So the toll is now $7.80. It gets you across the border from Indiana a lot faster.
Yeah, we did that all the time, taking our girl to Ohio State. It's just faster. I'm still going to do it.
I'm still going to do it too.
But everything's going up.
So you would pay the $9 every day?
I don't know. I would definitely have to think about that. That adds up, right? That's what, $45 a week?
For you to come in and to work in Milwaukee, would you pay $9 every day?
Oh, boy.
I mean, I got to work.
And there's no public, I live in the suburbs. There's no public transportation. How am I going to get here? Seriously, there's not a bus.
The park and ride, and then you take the bus in.
No, I'm definitely not doing that. What would the number be? This is a fascinating conversation. $9 would not stop me.
$9.
What if it was 19?
You would still do it.
I'd still do it. I would still do it.
I would ask I'd ask my work to pay it.
Well, it's like they gave us parking here. They would have to give us that, right? All right. Ooh, that would be tough.
Ooh.
So $45 a week, if it was $9 a day, that's what, $180 on an average month? That's a lot.
Whoa.
Right?
No,
45 a week times 4 weeks? Yeah.
Everything's expensive enough.
Yeah, it is for sure. Hey, we continue the conversation up next about transportation. Want to go to Philadelphia for the Packers game? Most of you will say no, but I wanted to see what it would actually cost if we wanted to do it. So I looked up airfare to get to Philadelphia for the game this next weekend, coming up in just a couple of days. We'll do that straight ahead. And then what are tickets going for in Philadelphia when WTMJ's Wisconsin's Afternoon News continues?
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Higginson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Tune in each week as John exposes industry myths for truth seekers looking to navigate their way to financial freedom. What he reveals may surprise you. To learn more about the show and how creative planning can help you build a custom financial plan and portfolio tailored to you and your goals, visit creativeplanning.com/radio. Don't settle for outdated advice. Your money deserves better, and so do you.
Hey, here for Guthrie and Fry. It is John Mercure. I love Guthrie and Fry. I've got their RO system in my house. My water's crisp, clean, and clear. Guthrie and Fry's water softener is in my basement. They even brought the salt in just a couple of weeks ago. At Guthrie and Fry, it's quality products and services at a fair price. Guthrie and Fry, the two most important things in your house, the air you breathe and the water that comes into your house. Let Guthrie and Fry come up with a budget-conscious water conditioning solution for you. I love these guys. Local, in our community, do things the right way every day. It's Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
If you're looking to build or remodel, then check out the 2025 Metropolitan Builders Association Home Building and Remodeling Show, presented by Nuns, January 10th through the 12th at State Fair Park. Learn about the latest home building and remodeling trends from over 150 MBA industry experts. For more information and tickets, visit mbahomeshow.com. If building and remodeling is on your to-do list in 2025, then don't miss the MBA Home Building and Remodeling Show this weekend at State Fair Park.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Traffic and weather. Debbie Lazaga, how we doing?
Well, we got an issue westbound on 94 right about at 28th Street. It is a broken down vehicle, but it's off on the right shoulder. This is just adding to your headaches already coming out of the Marquette. It's going to be heavy all the way to about Hawley Road. On the eastbound side, got backups from 92nd Street all the way through to 35th. Southbound 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise. Northbound slowing down from about Kilbourne all the way up towards Locust. And southbound 41, watch for delays from Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. We do still have this accident on northbound 94, right just north of College Avenue. It's off on the right shoulder, though. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 13. Tomorrow, flurries, a high of 22. Thursday, partly cloudy, 28. Friday, light snow, 30. On Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 32 degrees. It is Packers at Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. What would it cost to get there and what would it cost to get into the game? So I looked up flights. I spent this afternoon looking up some flights. First off, American Airlines flies direct from Milwaukee to Philadelphia. All those seats on all those flights are gone.
Oh.
Even if you're willing to pay $1,000, there are no seats left. So everything left is one stop. You stop somewhere. So I looked at what it would cost if you left on Friday and came back on Monday. So you're just there for the weekend. Game's on Sunday. The cheapest flights are $315, and they're not great times. $315 out of Milwaukee, round trip. So that's not as expensive as I thought, but they're not great times. If you want good times, like leave morning, get there early afternoon, come back at a decent time on Monday, you're over $500. For instance, the ones that are $315, you leave on Friday night at 5, you get into Philadelphia at almost midnight. Okay, so the cheapest are $315, good flights are $500. If you're willing to go on Saturday, so your weekend's a little shorter, it's cheaper, $280 round trip it'll cost you to go to Philadelphia. I also looked at Chicago. Chicago's much more expensive than Milwaukee. Everything's like $400.
Oh,
Chicago to Philly.
Wow.
Madison, even more. Almost every flight, if you go Madison to Philly and come back, is $500. So not cheap, but there are tickets still available to get to Philadelphia, but it's going to cost you anywhere between $300 and $500.
$300's pretty good.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty good, right? The more expensive thing is going to be the tickets. What are tickets going for? Can you even get tickets? John Lamoureux is the guy in charge of Ticket King. We'll talk to him up next.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruberg Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruberg Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Leading a nonprofit takes just the right mix of skills, experience, and passion. It is not easy to find those people. But Spano Pratt can help. They specialize in executive recruiting within the nonprofit world. From candidate discovery to assessment and selection, all the way to onboarding and executive coaching. The team at Spano Pratt is full of experts who identify talent that align with your purpose and mission. Go to SpanoPratt.com to start your search.
John Mercure here for Landworks Wisconsin. They are the best in the business. They did some dormant pruning at my house. That means come springtime, my trees and shrubs are in great place. I'm all ready to go. Right now at Landworks Wisconsin, get in touch with one of their design build landscaping project teams. They operate year-round. You meet with them right now. We met with them. The computer technology is amazing. We sorted out what we wanted to do in our yard, and then they did it. And it's first-class, top tier. Right now is the time to do it at Landworks. They want to help people achieve their outdoor dreams by creating beautiful landscapes. They've got the best teams. They've got the best technology. It's the best. It's locally owned. It's in our neighborhood. It's Landworks Wisconsin. Check them out today. LandworksWisconsin.com.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal, to do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
All right, so we were just discussing what it would cost you to fly out to Philadelphia. I really think it's actually affordable. The downside is there's no direct flights available. Those seats are all taken. But if you're willing to stop, you can do it for about $300 flying out of Milwaukee.
If you're a big Packers fan, you'd be willing to do it.
Yep, I'd be willing to do it. What about tickets? John Lamoureux is the guy in charge of Ticket King. It's where I go for all my ticketing stuff. John, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. Great to be here.
Hey, I guess let's start with interest. Is there interest? Are people calling up there wanting to see if you can help them get tickets to Philly?
You know, right now we're not seeing a ton of interest. I think that fans are maybe keeping their eye on hopefully seeing a win out in Philly and then got their eye on potentially a game in Detroit.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
But I don't know. Like, there's the playoffs, and you don't really get to see it very often. This might be the last game. Who knows? Maybe. So you might want to go out there. So how much are the prices?
True. It is an exciting time for sure. Right now, an end zone seat for the game in Philadelphia is starting out at $225 and can go as high as $500 for something behind the Packer bench.
Okay, so how does that compare, John, to other games, other playoff games in recent years? The Packers had a wild card game each of the past couple of seasons. How do the prices compare?
You know, it's maybe a touch higher than what you'd normally see for a wild card game. Philly fans are pretty good fans, and they're excited about their chances. So, you know, you're seeing maybe $50 more than what you might normally see for a wild card game. So, you know, it's there's definitely demand, and of course we're going to see Packer fans out there. They travel better than any fans in the country. But I think where we're going to see the fans come from is the transplants out on the East Coast.
Yeah, I bet you're right about that. If the game were at Lambeau, get out your crystal ball for me, would tickets be more expensive or less expensive than what you're seeing at Philly, do you believe?
I think it would be really close, plus or minus $25 either way.
Okay. So
your
that
daughter
is
and
really
son-in-law
close.
who are in Manhattan could go to the game.
Oh, that's true. But, John, what comes into play there is, do you think people take into account that Philly's a tough place to play? They're not nice to fans, that it's just not a really pleasant environment?
Fans are rowdy.
Yeah, that I really think I think that does come into play for sure. I do think that the Packer fans are just hoping for that game that's closer to Wisconsin, and it would sure be fun to go in and beat the number 1 seed at Detroit.
It would be. So if the game were in San Diego or the game were in Tampa or the game were somewhere warmer, would that have an impact or not really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that weather and, like you said, about the Philly fans, they've got a reputation, and not that Packer fans are afraid, but, maybe not the most fun environment.
John, how many games do you go to? How often do you get to a game?
Oh, this year I think I went to a couple games. So, periodically. I have my eyes set on a potential NFC championship, which couldn't be at Lambeau. That's impossible because it's the 7th seed. But if things go according to plan, they would go up to face the Vikings if the Vikings happen to win a couple games. So I've got my eyes on the Midwest with Detroit and Minnesota.
That would be epic. A quick Bucks question. The Bucks, right before the Cup, started playing better basketball. They won again last night. How's the market for Bucks tickets?
The market's decent. The recent winning waves have definitely helped out. But Wisconsin sports fans are focused in on football. And, historically, demand for basketball doesn't really heat up until the Packers are out.
It is interesting, though, because I was at the game against the Nets recently, and it was sold out. It seems like every game I'm in there, it is definitely sold out.
Oh, yeah. Fans are excited. They're going. It's just for it to translate into big demand in the secondary market, it's usually a early February, or late January, early February thing.
Spurs are in town tonight, and it's an only trip into town with that Wembanyama. That could be an interesting game tonight, too.
He's becoming a draw. He's definitely fans are coming out to see him individually, and that's a pretty big deal. I think it's only, his second year?
Yeah. All right, John Lamoureux is the guy in charge of Ticket King. For more information, check out theticketking.com. John, always good to catch up. Thank you so much.
Likewise, John. Thank you, Julia.
It is 5:27 at WTMJ. Let's check those markets. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. The NASDAQ was off 375 points today. The Dow was down 178. The S&P was off 66 points. That is less than great. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're due for service.
Rich Lawns.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining me today, Jeff Salazinski. He's Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, the market is still challenging for buyers today. We've talked before, businesses tend to renew insurance policies either Q4 or January 1st. Tell us a little more about what those challenges entail today.
Sure, Vince. Thanks. It's great to be here again. A few factors are defining this market for commercial insurance buyers right now. Some rates are up, like auto insurance, umbrella insurance, and property coverage. Some rates are headed down, like workers' compensation and cybercrime coverage. And insurance companies continue to be very disciplined in their approach to underwriting.
So, Jeff, what else is going on?
Another important factor is guidance and communication about how to navigate all of these market conditions. We talk to many businesses that still have not heard word one from their agent or broker. They're concerned about making an uninformed decision. Buyers know that clock is ticking. Or, if they have been contacted, They still feel uninformed about what's happening in the market today or have been just provided a renewal premium amount, and that's it.
So what's the message then, Jeff? Say you have an upcoming renewal in December or January.
There's still time to work with R&R, Vince. Our process looks like this. We inform you of where the opportunities are in today's market. We work with you to prepare your file to best position your company for selection and pricing by an underwriter. And R&R can get multiple companies competing for your account.
So why else should a business work with R&R Insurance?
Vince, business owners shouldn't settle for poor service. It'll cost you nothing to sit down and talk to R&R Insurance. If you're looking for a better insurance buying experience, we'd love to sit down and speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 5:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: charges in a deadly Christmas Day shooting.
I'm Julia Fellow. A late U.S. president makes his final trip to the nation's capital.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, and no more incidents up on the board, but we do have delays. Southbound 41 slowing from Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. Northbound slows down just before Mayfair Road up to Burleigh. Eastbound 94, you're looking at delays out of the Zoo Interchange all the way to 35th. The westbound side's heavy out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Southbound 43, heavy from North Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. The northbound side slow from the Marquette up to Locust. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Tomorrow, sun and clouds and a few flurries throughout our area, a high of 22. Right now, it's cloudy and 22 degrees.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, over the past 2 years, crime has declined in the city of Milwaukee. Homicides and non-fatal shootings have declined in 2024 by over 20% each. But Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says more can be done to reduce gun-related crimes.
Yes, we had double-digit reduction, but it could be even more. Many of those homicides were a kid with a handgun, unfortunately using it against another child. Absolutely preventable and absolutely unacceptable.
Chief Norman says MPD will continue to work with community partners to reduce gun violence in the city this year.
A car chase leads to a crash that damaged a library. Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputies were doing surveillance at a home near 2nd and Lloyd to find a 36-year-old man who was wanted for a burglary, fled the home at 1:30, and officers began pursuit. The suspect, we're told, ran the red light at MLK and Locust on the north side, hit another car, eventually crashed into the library construction entrance on the corner there. A 23-year-old construction worker was inside when this happened and was hit and hurt. Will be okay, we're told, is in the hospital. The drivers of both cars were not hurt as well, but there was serious damage to those cars, and charges are pending.
A suspect is shot by Milwaukee police during an overnight struggle on the city's south side.
A 19-year-old male suspect wanted for sexual assault of a child was in a home near 7th and Arthur. When officers attempted to arrest the man, that's when Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says the suspect pulled out a gun.
A struggle ensued between two officers and a suspect over the firearm. One officer discharged his firearm, subsequently striking the suspect.
That suspect is now in custody and is expected to survive. The 35-year-old male officer who shot the suspect is on administrative leave. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
An appeals court judge has rejected Donald Trump's bid to delay Friday's sentencing in his hush money conviction. Legal expert Lori Levinson.
That would be highly unusual because it involves state procedures, and the state law seems to indicate that there is no appeal until there's a final verdict. And that comes after the sentencing.
Levinson says while the president-elect might continue to fight the decision all the way to the Supreme Court, she says that she doubts he will prevail.
Investigators in Las Vegas are piecing together more details of the New Year's Day Cybertruck bomb attack on the Trump Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. Police Assistant Sheriff Dory Corrin says the suspect's purchase history shows he bought the explosives used in the attack.
Our financial records, his journal entries, a variety of other things confirm that he did purchase what he believed was tannerite, but it was a different form of exploding targets that has has ammonium nitrate and aluminum in it.
Sheriff Corrin also said they have clear evidence in this case that the suspect used ChatGPT to help plan his attack.
The casket carrying former President Jimmy Carter is now at the U.S. Capitol. CBS Nora O'Donnell.
A U.S. Air Force plane named Special Mission 39 in his honor, because he was the 39th president, flew his casket and the Carter family from Georgia to Joint Base Andrews in Maryland.
Carter's body will lie in state at the Capitol building for the next 2 days while the public pays their respects before a public funeral Thursday.
A brush fire fanned by high winds erupts in Southern California, triggering mandatory evacuations in the Pacific Palisades. CBS News correspondent Carter Evans describes what he's seeing.
The sky has darkened. I can smell the smoke now. It's getting thick in the street. It's starting to obscure the view outside my windows. So it has definitely changed dramatically. And it looks like a lot of my neighbors have been texting me, when should I go? When should I go? And I'm texting them back going, leave now.
The fire exploded in size, growing from 20 acres to 200 acres in 1 hour.
Some phrases need to go in the new year. No entity puts more time and effort into determining which words or phrases should be kicked to the curb than the folks at Lake Superior State University.
A tradition that dates back to 1976. The list proudly shines a spotlight on words and terms that are overused, misused, or simply unnecessary, with people from all over the world submitting.
25 different countries this year, mostly English-speaking countries from around the world.
Dr. David Travis is the president of Lake Superior State University.
At the end of the year, we have a committee that sits down and goes through all of them and evaluates and comes up with the top 10.
Words like cringe and era populate the 2025 banished words list. Overused phrases are also considered. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Also on the list, utilize, skibbity, and game changer.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo needed 3 stitches to close a cut on his right pinky during a game against the Toronto Raptors last night. He returned to the game to finish his 4th triple-double of the season to help the team to a 128-104 road win over the struggling Raptors. The Wisconsin Badgers basketball team got a road win, 75-63 against Rutgers last night. The Lady Badgers head to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies on the hardwood. Tip-off is at 8. Badgers Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 5:36.
Siding Unlimited and Holiday Automotive, our sponsor for news. Holiday Automotive is at Highway 23 in Fond du Lac. Holiday Automotive, it's worth the trip.
Hey, Wisconsin, WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, where the New Year's sale is on. Hey, is there a new Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC in your future? Connect with Holiday and find one that's right for you. Stack it with their low, simplified price, get more for your trade, then pair it all up with the season's best offers. Ready to take the roads this winter with confidence. Another great option, check out a GM-certified pre-owned model. Enjoy the peace of mind benefits like 2 factory-backed warranties, scheduled maintenance, courtesy transportation, and roadside assistance all included. Driving a GM-certified vehicle from Holiday is a no-brainer. I know you'll appreciate Team Holiday's welcoming, friendly, and genuine guest care. It's the stuff that delights and makes fans of drivers from all over. Fans like me and thousands of others who drive Holiday, Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Chief Meteorologist Brian Nisnansky is with us. Hey, Niz, do you know who Post Malone is?
I do.
He's the singer. Do you hear this story? So on Christmas Eve, he and his band, they're on tour, so they're out all together, and they went to a local bar, and Post Malone became friendly with a bartender who was back there, and she took good care of them. He went to pay the bill at the end of the night, and he was going to leave a nice tip. He found out his bandmates had paid his bill because they said, you always pay. So they picked it up, and he quietly went to the bartender and said, can you just charge me $1? I'd like to leave you a tip. You've taken good care of us. She did, and he left a $20,000 tip.
Oh, my gosh.
Isn't that fantastic? And she
that
said
is
for
great.
her,
I love
that's
hearing that.
life-changing because she needs a car. She's behind on her rent, and it's just nice because we all spend a lot of time bagging on celebrities, and that's a pretty cool thing.
I love hearing that because it kind of seemed like it was like, I don't know, like kind of a pay-it-forward moment where his band was trying to make a nice gesture, and then he probably assumed, who knows, like, you know what, I'm going to go above and beyond with the tip, and went and did that. That's pretty gnarly. He's a strange-looking dude, but seems like a good guy.
Yes.
Right? When you see him, whoa.
Exactly.
So,
but you know what? Don't let a book. Don't judge a book by its cover,
True.
right? You know.
Yeah, it's a good lesson.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, okay, we're getting over the snow. So is my dog. What were the snow totals?
Down towards Racine, Kenosha, a lot of 4 and 5 inch amounts. Here in Milwaukee, 4/10 of an inch of snow. That was it as far as the lake effect snow goes. But man, they got hit hard south. And the next storm system that's going to come out of like the desert southwest is going to eventually like bring snow to like the south, like Georgia and like Alabama.
Whoa.
And like Texas.
Really?
Meanwhile, yeah, so like we don't get any snow. Well, we might end up with like the fringe of that system. We might actually get a few flurries out of it on Friday, but the accumulating snow goes way south of the area. Not to derail us here, but I was just watching some of the news video on this. You guys seeing what's unfolding in Southern California
With the explosive
with the wildfires?
Oh,
Yeah,
my
like
goodness.
dude, there's like fire that's working its way down to like Sunset Boulevard, like right into the heart of LA right now. I mean, I'm looking at this like they got like Santa Ana winds that are going crazy. It hasn't rained there in like half a year. I mean, the firefighters, I can't believe the task that they have on hand here, because there's a fire that literally, if this fire works its way all the way to the ocean, will go through a good chunk of Los Angeles. So it's going to be a matter of saving property. A really bad situation unfolding right now in Southern California.
That's scary, and they're really literally right now trying to get a handle on it.
Yeah, some of the video. I mean, they got the reporters literally like trapped on streets right now with their goggles on and stuff like that.
There's like a
looks
house on
wild.
fire behind this one guy on ABC News. I'm like, you're putting his life in danger, and the photographer.
People are stranding cars like on, like freeways and stuff like that. It's getting out of hand. So hopefully things make a turn here pretty soon.
Yeah, man, I hope so. All right, what are we looking like the next few days?
Okay, guys. Yeah, for us back home here, we don't have to deal with that. We just got to deal with some standard cold weather here. January cold. Becoming mainly clear tonight, a low of 13. For tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 22. On Wednesday, partly cloudy. Yeah, tomorrow, 22 degrees. I was going to do Wednesday twice. Thursday, partly cloudy, 26. Friday is when we could get a little light snow in the morning. I'm talking a dusting. A high of 31. So we do warm up a little bit. And then Saturday, cooling again, partly cloudy, a high of 27. Looking ahead to Sunday, a little better chance for light snow, enough to maybe like give us a little coating, but it does not look like a major system, kind of a weaker clipper again.
Is South Carolina going to get snow?
Right now, it looks like right on the fringe of it. Like it goes through like northern Alabama, Mississippi, certainly like Oklahoma and like northern Texas even could get some snow out of this. But South Carolina's right on the edge of that too. It's got a ways to go, but potentially there. Are you traveling there?
I'm asking for a friend. We have a place there, and they don't get snow and don't deal with it well. So
Right. They don't have plows. Listen.
Yeah, seriously.
It's got a lot needs to pan out for that to happen, but certainly, yeah. Like, I mean, if this track holds away from the water there, like get into the higher elevation, certainly possible.
Yeah. Wow. All right, Niz, we will catch up tomorrow.
All right, guys, we'll see you.
It is 5:42 at WTMJ.
The only place to get this.
Every twist and turn you could possibly dream of is playing out tonight. Are you kidding me?
With some of this.
We are the Bucks, Justin. You're a member of the team now. Okay. Well, I have the tattoo on my arm, so I kind of am.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show with Justin Garcia and Brandon Snide. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
My wife Michelle and I are taking an incredible trip. It's the Kingdoms of Southeast Asia. It's 4 countries, one very special tour, 11 days in Vietnam, which is beautiful as Thailand. We're going to Thailand, as a matter of fact, a tuk-tuk through the streets of Laos, the shrouded jungle temples in Cambodia, all the famous stuff that you've seen pictures of. This is incredible. It's ancient. It's charming. There's history around every single corner, and I'd like to get you more information. It is in October. Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. In October, it's a small group trip, which means I'm only taking 24. It makes it extra special. An elephant sanctuary, chance to check that out, and the stunning beach resort of Phuket. Here's how you get the information, including pricing and a beautiful, beautiful little e-brochure. Let me send it to you. Send me an email, john@WTMJ.com, JOHN@WTMJ.com. It's an incredible itinerary, top-tier hotels. Michelle and I and listeners in October. Let me send you the information. I can't believe how affordable it is for this great, great trip. John.Mercure@WTMJ.com. You send me an email. I send you all the information. We're signing people up right now, and it's filling up. John, JOHN, Mercure@WTMJ.com. Or this works too. Just John@WTMJ.com. JOHN@WTMJ.com.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at Heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right?
Welcome to Kessler's.
Let's get you where you need to safely with our Debbie Lazica. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Hey there. Eastbound 94 is going to be a bit backed up from 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange to about 35th. The westbound side slow out of the Marquette to about Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43 getting a little bit better, still heavy from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high rise, then back on the brakes, basically down past Lincoln. Northbound is a little slow as well from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Locust. Rest of the system looking a lot better. Southbound 41 just a little bit tight right past Capitol Drive, and then eastbound on 894 slowing down from 92nd Street to 76th. I'm Debbie Lazica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
He's a journalist. He's an historian. He's an all-around great guy. His book is The Big Truth. Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, CBS News, with us this afternoon. Major, good afternoon.
Great to be with you.
Hey, so we're looking at live pictures from the nation's capital and a sky dotted with pink and mauve as the sun gets set to set there. Jimmy Carter's family's now out on the Capitol steps. They're getting ready to move his casket on this chilly afternoon inside the Capitol. As you watch these pictures, and I know how much you love history and presidential politics, what thoughts come to mind when you see this unfolding and these honors being bestowed on Jimmy Carter?
That it is part of our great American tradition to honor any occupant of the White House, even one who twice during his presidency, it's worth noting, Jimmy Carter had an approval rating of 26%, twice, 1978 and again in 1980. He was unpopular while in the office, but, and this is sometimes true of American presidents, underappreciated in the time that they serve, more appreciated in the rearview mirror, looking at the things that were external events that Jimmy Carter had no control over, but looking at the things that, in a lasting way, transformed the country for the better. I'll just note 3 very quickly. The modern air travel we enjoy, low-cost competitive airlines. That's because Jimmy Carter deregulated the airlines during his presidency. FedEx, DHL, UPS, all the modern conveniences of shipping that were so vital to us during COVID and are second nature in every other aspect of American life because, in large part, Jimmy Carter deregulated trucking during his presidency. And I think we've had this conversation before. It's worth noting. He enjoyed craft beer. Raised one to Jimmy Carter. He signed legislation allowing home brews, which were the precursor to craft brews. Those are small things or large things. But utterly underappreciated at the time, more appreciated now, and that happens sometimes with a troubled American presidency. I remember when George Herbert Walker Bush was laid to rest and all these same honors were conferred at the Capitol and elsewhere. There was a reappraisal of George Herbert Walker Bush's presidency, thought to be weak and maybe unimaginative, no vision. But then people look back at the legislative tracker and said, wow, a lot of things got done. Same thing with Jimmy Carter. Just because you're a one-term president does not mean you're a failure in every respect. Politically, yes, that is the ultimate acid test of a politically successful modern American presidency. Are you reelected? But that doesn't mean you weren't a successful president in other ways.
Major, how are you covering it tomorrow? Or, Thursday?
Well, I will be part of the CBS News special election coverage tonight. I am going to anchor our America Decides streaming political program, which will come out of our special report coverage, and I'll be doing that same show tomorrow, but I'll be part of the coverage probably at the anchor desk with Nora on Thursday for the funeral at the Washington National Cathedral, the speech by the eulogy from President Biden. We should remember, if you don't know, the first senator to endorse Jimmy Carter's run for the presidency in 1976 was Joe Biden. So they remain longtime friends, and it's important for President Biden as he prepares to exit the White House, also as a one-term president, to eulogize Jimmy Carter, one of his first and most formidable mentors in politics.
Has there ever been a president with a post-presidential legacy that equals Jimmy Carter's?
John Quincy Adams is the only other one. John Quincy Adams went back to serve in the House of Representatives and was a powerful and important voice in the abolitionist movement and had a significant legislative track record. As a former president in the House of Representatives, he's the only one who compare. There are two great ex-presidencies in our history, John Quincy Adams and Jimmy Carter's. And the one thing I would say about that, and I've done quite a bit of reading on this and talked to biographers of Jimmy Carter, talked to people who work for him. I long assumed, and I think most Americans assume, that post-presidency was a sort of an answer or sort of a mea culpa for a bad presidency. Not at all. Jimmy Carter did not consider one different from the other, or one an enhancement of the other, or one an answer for the other. It was a constant thread throughout his life. He helped the Senate and pushed the Senate to approve the Panama Canal Treaties. Why? Because he believed America should have a statement about human rights to pull back from its imperialist, colonialist, Yankee imagery in Central and South America. He did that in his post-presidency, not just in Central and South America, but throughout the continent of Africa, to explain that human rights, dealing with public health, assisting people, using the convening power of a former president, was part of his mission in life. So what he did as president and the things he emphasized, human rights and otherwise, flowed through his entire post-presidency. They weren't an answer for one or the other or, well, gosh, I was a terrible president, I better be a good post-president. No, it was a constant thread. I don't think that was understood at the time, and it's being better understood now.
Powerful moment right now, Major, at the nation's capital. A 21-gun salute, military honor cannons being fired in honor of Jimmy Carter as the sun begins to set there over the nation's capital. I like tradition also, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about the many strong traditions we have when it comes to politics in our country. And one of those will come to life again on Thursday when all the living presidents will be there. I think some people are surprised that Donald Trump will be there, but he will be. Is that important?
It is important. And I would say in the main, what President-elect Trump has said has fit within the contours of respect paid to former presidents. There was a press conference at Mar-a-Lago today where President-elect Trump said some critical things about the Panama Canal Treaty, sort of echoing complaints at the time that were highly politicized. Jimmy Carter never questioned the necessity of handing over control of the Panama Canal to the Panamanian government. That has been vindicated by history. There was a tremendous revolutionary fervor or anti-American fervor at the time that was happening. The Joint Chiefs of Staff briefed President Carter, said if you don't do this, that canal will be under constant threat, and we'll probably have to put 80 to 100,000 U.S. military personnel there constantly to protect it. It's much better for us, for our security, and for our future relations with Panama and Central America and South American countries to do this. Carter believed that. One of his fiercest advocates publicly at the time, most people don't know this, was John Wayne, who clashed with his longtime friend Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan sounding very much like President-elect Trump does now about the Panama Canal. We built it, we should keep it, et cetera, et cetera. Other than that, what President-elect Trump said today, he's been generally respectful of Jimmy Carter, the person, and honoring him as a former president. That's important. That helps reinforce the continuity and the generalized respect we have for occupants of that office. Though, as I pointed out, Carter was really unpopular while he was in office. He often felt or looked small in the office. The American public punished him for that in the 1980 presidential election, but still a significant figure in American history.
Okay, you mentioned the incoming President-elect Donald Trump. He also had this to say, Major. I want you to react to this. It's whether the Gulf of Mexico should remain the Gulf of Mexico. Listen to this.
Pretty soon we're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate.
Your reaction to that, Major?
Is there a council that he's going to go to that's going to change all the maps?
Yes.
How does that happen? Yeah, what do we do?
How could we literally do that? Could we do that?
Well, I suppose he could, draw it in Sharpie on a map at the White House.
He likes the
That could be
Sharpie.
the beginning of the process. I really don't know what to make of that, other than to say he said it. He's the president-elect, so it must be taken with some degree of seriousness. I don't imagine it's going to happen or be a priority, but the idea is that he wants to suggest throughout the hemisphere that there is going to be a kind of possibly surprising muscularity to Trump 2.0. He's made that abundantly clear with Canada, Greenland, Panama. How far that goes and what it exactly means and how it does or doesn't either reshape the region's understanding of America or vice versa, or what we call certain things, I don't know. But it did take me aback, that's for sure.
And an incredible distraction to what's really going on in our everyday lives, like talking about the economy and inflation. I mean, that is a really big pivot that he made, and that made the headlines.
Yeah, and you can't know, and this is something I think we're going to re-experience. We can't know how serious these things are. Is it a pivot, or is it just a notion, of which there are many, and some are pursued and others just sort of float on by? We experienced that for 4 years during the first Trump presidency. Today's press availability reminded us, certainly reminded me, of that dynamic that we are about to revisit.
Major Garrett is CBS's chief Washington correspondent. We always appreciate your time, especially on the big days for America. Major, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Talk next week.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The St. Francis Brewery is reopening in 2025 under new leadership. The plan is to reopen the 72